Steve Dangle Podcast. Powered by Sports Interaction. Wanna bet?
The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
It's a big day.
It's a big mug.
It is a big mug. It's time to, this is my Baby Yoda mug. This is a Jack's present from 2 years ago at Christmas.
What is he like riding?
Well, you know how, have you
Gravy
seen the
boat.
series?
No.
Okay, so he's like a baby. So he has to float around in this little orb that takes him everywhere, but he's also got Jedi powers. So I'm drinking out of Baby Yoda this morning.
So he lives in that orb?
He's sort of like, it's like if
No, that's a ceramic mug, Jesse. It's not right.
what do they call those things that you push babies around in?
A stroller?
That's right.
Pod racer.
It's like a stroller that levitates.
Wait.
He forgot the word stroller.
Yeah, I forget. You guys know I forget words all the time.
Backshin.
Yeah,
Action.
exactly.
So at all time.
That's a deep reference.
It's a big day. Listen, I just wanted to shout out to my Formula One team, McLaren F1, for finishing second and fourth when they finished 19th and 20th the first couple of races. Jesse's upset because
why am I happy?
Because he's a Mercedes guy. Even though they're Mercedes powered, Jesse, you should be happy about that. Lewis finished third. And then also today, Ridley Scott's Napoleon trailer came out, and it looks fucking bonkers.
What are we
I'm
gonna
so
learn?
excited.
About
We're gonna learn so much.
the Franco-Prussian War?
No, that's later.
Damn.
That's later.
Well,
That's in the 1870s. It's
Well-
good that you know that, though. Most people never heard of that war.
Prussia.
It was the precursor to World War I.
I learned about Silesia because of Red Dead Redemption.
There you go. So,
Are you guys going to go see Oppenheimer in a couple weeks?
yeah, I want to see both on the same day. Barbenheimer.
Yeah, you want to do the Twitter meme?
Yeah, 100%. The question I had, we were talking about this at Eric Young's house, is do you see Barbie first or do you see Oppenheimer first?
It was a big topic of discussion.
And I think most people said Barbie because at least you get to laugh before you are filled with dread forever.
I'm going to say, ooh. I feel like you need to think about Oppenheimer after it's done, right?
Well,
So maybe that lasts.
I think the point of Oppenheimer is to fill us with existential dread forever.
Yeah, but it turns out happy. We know how Oppenheimer ends. The world doesn't blow up.
Well, I don't know if that's the case.
We're all here right now.
I don't
It
think
worked
so.
out. It's a happy ending.
It's worked out so far, but that's the problem. Is like we are always on the brink of
No, we're
that
here,
is
though.
always
So-
there.
Yeah, but we're here.
I
actually-
it worked.
I know this is a very highly anticipated movie. All I know about this movie is it has something to do with a bomb. Mm-hmm. And it's
The Manhattan Project.
That's right.
Fuck. You know?
What, you didn't know that?
No.
Well, if you've never heard of that,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean anything to you.
Yeah.
I've heard of the Manhattan Project.
Well, that's what it is.
That's the movie.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's
So
what it's
all
about.
about that.
Yeah.
But you should probably know that going in. I don't know.
I mean,
No.
they'll do a little explainer.
No,
I'm sure.
no. I like. So one of my favorite. This is not the same type of film at all. One of my favorite experiences watching a movie was Moneyball, because it's based on a real life event that I didn't know about.
Yeah, Jonah Hill actually worked for the A's.
It's crazy.
He did.
Yeah.
But no, at the end, I was like,
And then he texted them and he
oh.
said, "These are my boundaries, and if you can't do that, then
I didn't know if you were going to go there, and then you went there.
And I'm Brad
way,
Pitt, leave me the fuck alone.
all the things that he texted, I'm like, man, those sound like fun things, man. What's your fucking problem?" Anyway,
in the movie?
yeah, no, not in the movie. So Oppenheimer, that I think the question you will have to think about, or what changed so much,
Are nukes good or bad?
is that
I'm on the side of bad, but what do you guys
going into it, there was not a weapon on Earth that could wipe out Earth.
Yeah.
Afterwards, there was, or at least there was soon to be, because the bomb they developed.
Are you spoiling some parts of
No. I mean, the bomb they
This is
developed was
exactly-
not.
Yeah, this
Steve
is exactly
didn't
what I
want-
didn't want.
No, this is what he didn't want out of.
No.
Yeah, no.
Well, that's all it
Oh,
is.
okay.
No, you're
Yeah, but
ruining
why-
it.
All right,
I'm not
Napoleon
ruining it.
dies. How do you like it?
We're doing our
Where
friend
does he
a
die?
disservice here.
I think on Corsica.
No, he's from Corsica. Where does he die?
On an island somewhere.
Where?
In the where
South
there's water.
Pacific. What's it called?
Oh, I don't know.
St. Helena.
Oh, I believe you.
You know, the French government still maintains his residence there. So they actually
No, he's got to be dead by now.
well, in case he ever comes back,
Oh, you mean like they maintain his house?
they maintain his house.
Oh,
It's a British.
I thought they maintained that he resided there.
British overseas territory that the French government purchased from England, and they continually are fixing the house up. And
Are
you know,
we
it's a
planning
tourist
on
destination.
reincarnating Napoleon?
No, I think it was just sort of
happening?
like an ode to a person who was, by some accounts, a great leader, by some accounts, a horrible person. Depends on who you ask.
Oh,
Yeah.
The movie
He's-
does both sides.
Yeah.
He's got to be 70, 80 by now.
Yeah, probably.
Is he like
there's
Disney?
no way.
He's like Disney. His head's frozen somewhere.
That's
They're
right.
Planning on unfreezing it
Yeah.
in like 100 years.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that a lot. Anyway, so Jesse, are you going to Barbie first or Oppenheimer first?
Barbie. I might wait till Oppenheimer's on streaming because 3 hours is a long time to be in a movie theater.
Yeah, okay. Can
3
you make
hours
it-
is a long
3 hours
time.
long?
Yeah.
Can you make it through 3 hours without peeing?
No.
Yes.
I can't.
unless I plan to do it. 'Cause you always talk about when you're going to sporting events, you purposely dehydrate yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and unless I think do stuff like that purposely. But if I'm just trying to be comfy, no.
The AEW event I went to recently, where it's an event that is very predominantly dudes, and the lineups are around the building. I'm like, yeah, no,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna miss entire matches that I paid for.
Yeah.
Like-
So you purposely don't guzzle a bunch of water or nothing, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then that makes you uncomfortable too.
All right.
So I don't know. I like staying at home.
So Adam, 3 hours movie
No.
theater? No. You're missing portions.
I'm up at least a couple times for sure. Because I'm always constantly drinking water and
Yeah.
and also I don't want to purposely dehydrate myself. I don't want to be a raisin walking
you're
into
right.
the movie theater. You know what I mean?
Right. You're right.
What is?
You're the one who's right.
Yeah, like I don't like. Sometimes we have to get up and take a quick break while we're recording the show and go to the bathroom. Most of the time, not. But we kind of go 2 hours. But afterwards, we're all like rushing out the door to get to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't know. That was
Like
just sort of a
3
statement.
hours is a lot. It's a lot. They should have. They should have.
3 hours and 9 minutes, by the way.
Oh, that's fucking
it
important.
crosses even
No,
the
the
3 hour
9
mark.
minute.
The 9
no.
minutes are. That's Christopher Nolan's hockey number, by the way. That's why the 9 minutes. No, I'm kidding.
What? Oh, yeah.
It was a Mitch Marner reference.
Yeah.
Oh,
with
you suck. That's hilarious.
9. Yeah,
That's very funny.
like that's a long time.
It is. It is.
so
And
much film.
So here's what I can remember though. I remember when I went to see Lord of the Rings in the theater, and I think it's 2.5 hours, and that was because
Maybe the first one.
The extended cut is 4 hours for all of those movies, which I don't even know how you get the extended cut now unless you have the DVDs, which I don't even have a DVD player. So,
Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship is 258.
so that was 3.
And then the other ones, the other one is 321. And then we got 259 and 249.
Okay, so I can remember sitting in the theater for that.
Make more movies, bro. Just make it as long as possible and divvy it up a little bit more.
Well, I think
That's too much.
I think here's the point, man. Back then, they had to do that because film. But now, listen. As much as the film people are going to hate me for this, let's be honest. Do you want a 3-hour film or do you want a 10-hour limited series that's even better and goes into even more detail? And I'm throwing it out there. My pick is the limited series. I fucking love them. And so, like with a thing like Oppenheimer, I mean, obviously Christopher Nolan is a film guy, and like Scorsese's a film guy, and Nolan's a film guy. Whoever's doing them, I just think it would be. I want to see more of the limited series because I think you can go into more detail. You don't miss out on important details. There's things that Hollywood has to change, especially with like historical movies like Oppenheimer, where for brevity they just have to cut somewhere, and you miss important details, and people walk away not knowing. Right? It's important.
no, here's what I need.
What do you need?
9-hour film that incorporates all parts of World War II.
Oh, God.
Like I need a master cut. Like what's that movie?
Band of Brothers. You should watch Band of Brothers then.
Well, what about the Alan Turing movie where he?
Oh,
Yeah.
such a good movie. With
I need that spliced in with Oppenheimer so I get all of it.
all the just like succinctly running.
Yeah, so
I think
they're
I think
cracking the code and they're making
the
plot.
Turing thing would have happened before Oppenheimer because I think he cracked the code in 41.
Well, then you're watching
42.
Barbie. You're watching the wrong movie.
Now Barbie, we don't need a limited series on. That's
No,
like a
no, but
fun 2-hour movie.
The argument on the other side for the limited series aspect of it is it's a different kind of storytelling. You know, if you're doing even less than 8 episodes, you do like a 6-episode limited series, and you're doing an episodic week by week, and it's on HBO or AMC or Showtime or somewhere. You're writing differently because each week you're ending it on some sort of hook, some sort of continuation of the story to bring viewers back. And with film telling, you're getting somebody for those 3 hours, and you're telling a complete story beginning to end.
Right.
You know, so I assume Christopher Nolan isn't about to just switch platforms, you know, and how he's going to tell this story.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You know, so like there's an art to what he's doing, and then there's an art to the episodic, the limited series aspect of that. I assume this is how the medium he likes to tell the story.
Something you guys should watch, limited series that just came out, and holy shit, it's really good, and there's only one episode out. Have you seen the Ashley Madison affair thing on Disney Plus?
Ashley Madison affair.
So Ashley Madison, the website.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's about how.
You should explain.
Are you in it?
That's actually kind of.
Well, we did interview.
That's I was about to get to that.
No,
we talked to this guy.
we interviewed Noel Bitterman. Yeah, and I asked him about a whole bunch of shit. I remember like.
It's not some lady named Ashley Madison.
No, it's not. Okay, I'll wreck one thing. When they came up with the name of the website, they picked were like the top 2 baby names that year.
Fucking weird.
Yeah. So Ashley and Madison in like 2001 or 2002 were the names for kids that year. And those were the names. They wanted it to be approachable and that sort of thing. So Ashley Madison comes from that.
For those of you who don't know, because it's actually kind of old now.
Yeah, we got to explain.
Well, so the whole thing was this is a website that was, and it still exists. And it's, here's the thing. The part of this documentary is about its resurgence. So what happens if for 15 years, they build this website that is about cheaters. And if you are married, it's like life short, have an affair. And so
it's like Hinge, but just for having an affair.
It's for Tinders for dudes with wives who want to cheat on them.
But like 10 years pre-Tinder, right? Like you're talking about like when Lava Life was king.
Like Plenty of Fish.
Yeah. And so what was interesting about it though is the marketing, right? The whole thing was, oh, you're disgusting. I can't believe this company does this. So what's the company do? They lean into it. Mm-hmm. And
you don't really have another option.
So they'll show like a commercial from like the early 2000s. By the way, what a wild time. You could get away with stuff back then you can't get away with now. And it's like a guy sneaking out of a room with a woman and he's like, what if you're one, and she's like snoring. And it's like, what if your one night stand accidentally lasted you a lifetime? Life short, have an affair, Ashley Madison. And it's like he's sneaking away from his wife. Like it's fucked. And the whole thing is about how they marketed to men and the differentiation between how many men were on the site versus how many women were on the site. And what happened later on is, and this is, I'm not blowing the story. It's sometimes it's not the what, it's the why. So the what is that all of that information got leaked. Yes. Somebody hacked in and leaked everything.
You're telling the story.
Well, no, because
it's like Fire Festival.
It's like one,
that happened.
We know it sucked, but why did it suck, right? And so that is that, and that's all I really need to say is that like you used to be able to go to a website and if you searched in the name of your partner, you could find out whether or not they were on Ashley Madison. So it's getting to that, and that was in like 2015, right after we interviewed the guy. Yeah. And then after that, how the site came back.
So during the boom of where it was a popular thing for dudes to go on there and try and cheat on their wives, we had on Kiss 95 was it Blake and Wild or was it just the Adam Wild show?
It was Blake and Wild, but I don't think Blake was in that.
You
day.
did it solo. I know that for sure.
Yeah. And I remember
we brought him into the studio and we had him there. We talked to him, shook his hand.
I had heard him on. I had heard him on Kevin and Bean on K-Rock in LA, and I used to love that show. So I was like, man, we got to book this guy. And little did I know that this guy is like a total publicity master. We'll be out there in front of anybody at any time. So he, of course, Ashley Madison, based out of Toronto anyway. So he came.
What? We should mention that. He's from here.
Yeah, it's a Canadian company.
Yeah.
And
that's why he was on CanCon.
That's right. Well, so he came on, and I remember what they used to do, and this is something that a lot of PR agencies will do, is they'll issue we've done a study of our users, and here's what we have found. So like Facebook used to put one out about its users, and it'd be like, we found out that the most breakups happen after Christmas and after Valentine's Day. We found out that most people get together on this date and this date. Like they'll do like generalized data. So what Ashley Madison did was they said, we have found out what age group of men are most likely to have an affair, what age group of women are most likely to have an affair. And what they did is they took it a step further, at least with our interview. And I don't know if they get into this in the documentary. It's not, the episodes are not out, but the reason we had it on, the reason we had it on was because he was like talking about like if you're in that range, whatever age range it was, and I remember for women it was their quote unquote sexual peak from 35 to 39, most likely to have an affair at that point. It was something basically talking about like giving marital advice, like how to avoid an affair, it was just
how to keep your partner off of our site.
100%. That's what it was. And then I remember asking him, I was like, I don't know that I would ask the same question today, but I was in my mid-20s and I didn't give a shit. So I said, how old's your wife? And he said 36. And
That's
I said,
fucking unreal question.
Yeah.
How dare you even question it?
And
That's
then
an unreal question.
And then I said, you're on the road a lot. Are you ever concerned? And he said, well, because he talked about how monogamy was always like it was an extra added pressure to wedding or to marriages, and that monogamy was just not reasonable for most people. But he and his wife were monogamous.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I said.
Yeah?
So you understand? I said, do you like? Are you following these steps?
For the business model for sure.
Yeah, and he, you know what? Yeah. To his credit, which I don't know if he deserves the credit or not. To his credit, he answered the question, didn't get upset, didn't get angry, was like, oh yeah, no, and he's like, I hope she doesn't.
Adam, that is a fucking fantastic.
I don't know that I was being a fucking punk though, like asking a question like that, but that's part of it.
The question.
Yeah,
So,
I guess
That's the question.
You did the interview sometime around February 9th, 2015. The interview's been scrubbed from the internet, so I can't
Oh yeah,
find-
because when I left Kiss, they deleted all my content, which really sucks because like we had some great interviews.
They paid for it. What the?
I know.
So yeah, on February 9th at 5:40, you tweeted about how he's coming on the show, and you had him on that day, but I can't get the interview.
Yeah,
they've taken it down.
And I said I was excited because I thought his points were brilliant in the sense that like he was shocking people at this time, right? And that there's a brilliance to that. There's a brilliance to the way this was marketed. I think if you were to look at that tweet in today's concepts, or you'd be like, does Adam Wilde think that AshleyMadison.com is brilliant in its evil way? It is.
In your tweet, you say, I'm really excited. You're talking about going to interview him. And then you go, even though I'd never want to cheat / want my partner to, I think Noel Bitterman's points are brilliant.
I think it's very important.
Cheers. That's going to go over really well in the comments section.
Even though I'd never want to cheat.
Just gonna go over here and drink my Baby Yoda.
You shouldn't even have to say that.
But you do.
If you believe the opposite, you should have to clarify. No, now for the record, like I don't know. Hopefully, I get cheated on, and I'm definitely gonna. And
like my partner should know I'm cheating on them.
Yeah. For the content.
For content.
But it is. But it goes back to Steve's point, which is on the internet. Every conversation has to start with, and then God created the earth.
Yeah.
Right? You can't, like it's funny because, like, obviously, I'm not going to be out there, even if I was cheating, and which, by the way, I'm proud to say I never have.
Hey, man. That's
good for me. Bare minimum.
Good for you.
Bare minimum. But
Here, wait.
Hey.
Give me that back so I can pat it.
This guy.
Oh, yeah.
But it's funny because I had to qualify that statement. And even today, it's what? 8 years later, I still feel like I have to qualify it because it's like, okay, well, you can't just say that and not also say, oh, well, but I also don't like cheating. I'm not pro cheating.
I think it's a age where it's very difficult to get people's attention because we're all so broken and have seen everything, and we grew up on fucked up shit that we saw on Kazaa. And
probably true.
I read it for the younger, maybe.
Yeah.
But that website,
GeoCities,
still to this day,
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's notably fucked up.
Notable.
And it's making a comeback?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like bell bottoms.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not only made a comeback, it's like a full on, like they're making money hand over fist. Yeah. How? I don't know. See, it's the why. It's never the what. It's the why. That's why you stick in there.
You know what? Get him back on. Call
Noel,
Noel.
what are you doing, Bitterman?
Call Noel.
No.
His
His last name is Bitterman,
Bitterman.
but it's spelled Bitterman.
BIDR.
Oh, that's not as fun.
Here's what I want to talk to you guys about today. I want to talk to you about the narrative.
Welcome to your favorite hockey show.
Can I, Jesse, I want to talk to you about the narrative. When I say I want to talk to you about the narrative as it pertains to hockey, what instantly do you think? What comes to mind? How do you feel? What do you assume?
I don't know where this is
The
going.
narrative.
Okay.
It's a big thing that hockey Twitter likes to use.
Yeah.
The narrative. What's the narrative, Steve?
Well, generally speaking, when someone tweets the word narrative at me, it's followed by almost every other word of the tweet is fucking stupid. So I think the narrative is, oh man, something about, if this is about the core four, I'm going to have to kick it.
It's not.
No, probably we're starting with DeBrincat.
That's
I
right.
assume. So, but I'm trying to figure out the narrative.
The
narrative
is that he fumbled the bag.
He got greedy.
Is what I saw. Grav tweet that he fumbled the bag.
I don't think he fumbled. I don't think he fumbled the bag, but I think that is the narrative. But also, the narrative from Bruce Garriock of the Ottawa Sun. And I want to play both sides of the media thing here because I think the drama, like we talked about last week in Ottawa, and the way this was covered is fascinating. So the narrative from the DeBrincat camp had to change.
Very difficult to tell who's on whose side.
The narrative from the DeBrincat camp had to change when he found out no one was willing to go 8 years. That's from Bruce Garriock of the Ottawa Sun, who obviously had a very defined side in this, which is pro Sens.
Does a lot of work.
And listen, I think there's an understanding here that I'm not shitting on him for this. I think that there is room for both of the way that this is covered. I think in Bruce's case, he's Ottawa proud. And if you don't want to be here, get the fuck out of town because we're tired of players not wanting to play here. We only want our guys here that want to play here. And as a Toronto fan who has watched numerous MLB, NBA, and sometimes NHL players walk out of town for the same reason, I get it. I get it.
Very on brand for the Sun.
Absolutely.
So he fits perfect. And believe it or not, that's a compliment.
Contrast that with Ian Mendes of The Athletic. And here's the title of his article. The DeBrincat era is over in Ottawa, and there doesn't have to be a bad guy.
And that's all you need to read because it's 2023 and we don't need to read past the headline.
Well, I actually have a quote. I have a quote from Ian's article because I think Ian Mendes is.
Oh, so you're stealing.
Well, I'm stealing, but there is a full article.
Oh,
sorry.
I think you should
breaking the
tweet
paywall.
all the screenshots.
You know what? I'm going to take my
Love when
Athletic app and
people
be
do
like,
that.
"Hey, Ian, great article. Click, click, click." Now everybody can read it. So here's what Ian Mendes had to say. DeBrincat, it should be noted, really did nothing wrong here. He never demanded a trade, which I think is an important point. That was never mentioned. He never threatened to hold out. He simply used his contractual status to his advantage. He could have gone down the Johnny Gaudreau path and played a game of contractual cat and mouse, ultimately leaving the Senators with nothing at the end of the 23-24 season. Instead, he indicated that he was unlikely to sign a contract extension, and at that point, it seemed to be in everybody's best interest to move on. And by the way, that conversation, according to Ian, happened at the end of season meetings with the GMs and coaches with the players, right?
It's kind of like Dubois.
Yeah, it's just that, I just don't see myself here long term.
Yeah, I can understand people being upset about it, but at the end of the day, he wasn't a dick about it. He was just like, listen, I'm not going to sign here.
Yeah.
And the Senators did offer him $64 million. That's all but confirmed at this point. 8 years, $8 million per. You can understand why a guy like him, who is our 2 or 3 time 40 goal scorer already, is already thinking like, well, the cap's going up a lot. Why would I sign that now? I can understand the shorter term. But what's interesting is that Ian also talks about the Pierre Dorian angle here. And we can come back to that in a second because let's break down the trade. DeBrincat goes to Detroit. It's good for Detroit, and I would say just okay for the Ottawa Senators. And let's start with...
That's generous.
Let's start with what Detroit gets, obviously. The Islanders, by the way, were another team that was really interested, and there was a couple more. But he basically said, I'm just not going to sign long-term unless it's Detroit. And, maybe he goes to the Island and he signs for 2 years, really likes it and extends. But it really affected, A, how much Ottawa was going to get, and B, Lou Lamoriello and his group are going to want to, they like their long-term deals. Look at the Pierre Engvall thing. They like certainty. And I think that he wasn't going to be able to give them that, and they can't take that sort of risk. Although at Lou Lamoriello's age and all the cups he has, he can take any risk he wants. What are they going to do? Take him out of the Hall of Fame?
Will he still be GM at the end of Engvall's contract?
Yes.
I honestly think he might.
DeBrincat gets traded, obviously. So the contract extension itself is pretty simple. $7.875, no signing bonus. Not one. Not $1.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
And according, if you're to believe Bruce Garriock, DeBrincat's camp was looking for an 8-year deal and nobody was willing to do it. I find that hard to believe because of how old this player is and where the cap is going.
Yzerman had the ultimate leverage, which is he has leverage over both the team and the player.
Right.
He has leverage over Ottawa because you have a player who's not going to sign long term. You got to get something for him. And he has leverage over the player because the player wants to be here. He did really well.
Yeah. So going back to Ottawa, Dominic Kubalik, who is a flashy scorer sometimes and then goes cold, but 20 goals last year.
Streaky. Yeah.
$2.5 million for one more year, and then he's a UFA. You get Donovan Sabrango, who split time between the A and the E last year. You know, I kind of read his scouting report from when he was drafted. This guy's a third-round draft pick. I guess he's really like a strong skater and he's tough, but he just it hasn't happened so far yet.
Birthplace, Ottawa, Ontario.
That's important.
Yes.
That's important. Now then this is the major part for next year. The conditional first. Detroit has the option to send their own or Boston's 2024 first round pick. In the event the Bruins 2024 first round pick is a top 10, Boston can retain the pick and transfer their 2025 first round pick instead. Detroit will then have the option of sending Boston's 2025 unprotected first or their own 2024 to Ottawa. So this is a pick for a player that at very least may not get drafted until next year, and then after that maybe not even 2020 until 2025, when Ottawa gave up a top 10 pick last year to get DeBrincat. I
got it in front of me. You want it?
Who was it?
Dude. So it was Kevin Kurchinski, but leave the player out of it because, we don't know
what Kevin
valued what. But 7th overall pick, Kevin Kurchinski. 2022 second, 39th overall. So 7 picks into the second round. And a 2024 third and it's Ottawa's that hasn't even been used yet. I know which package I'd prefer, and it's the first one. And you got 1 year of DeBrincat and 28 goals in exchange for a worse package. It's a failure. It's bad.
Yeah, it is. And so, Dorian has done this before, and I'm going to go back to Ian Mendes for a second. The Senators turned a 2022 number 7 overall pick and downgraded that to something that'll fall between number 20 and number 32, likely in next year's draft. In many ways, it's a similar outcome to what transpired if you follow the trail of the Matt Duchene trade to Ottawa. The Senators flipped what became the number 4 overall selection in 2019 after the dust settled, and Duchene was dealt to Columbus. Ottawa ended up with the 19th overall selection. Instead of having a Bowen Byram or Moritz Seider, the Senators ended up with Lassie Thompson. Oh. So the downgraded picks have real consequences. And I think
Thompson's supposed to be good.
Sure. But I mean, Bowen Byram and no offense to Lassie Thompson, but he's not there yet.
Yeah.
So here's the question I think this morning is, and I really feel for Senators fans. If you just put the trade in a vacuum, don't talk about who they're going to go out and sign after this. This sucks because this is a player that they really thought was going to come in. First off, I know he had 28 goals, but he was like a minus 31 or 33 or something.
Wow.
Listen, plus minus is a shit stat, but minus 30s were that's ugly territory.
Top 6 players and top pair defensemen on really bad teams are always going to have dog shit plus minus. Always.
But minus 30?
It's pretty shit. It's pretty bad. It's really, really bad. It doesn't help that every puck went in.
Yeah, they didn't really have great goaltending for sure.
But if you compare and contrast his numbers from when he was in Chicago to going to Ottawa, and you believe that he's the 40 goal scorer and not the 27 goal scorer who was minus 31.
Yeah, he's 2-time 40, but look at the season where he only played 52 games. How many goals did he get?
32.
Yeah. So it's You know how Matthews should have had a bunch of 50-goal seasons, but he kept playing shortened seasons or whatever? Yeah, DeBrincat should have at least 3 40-goal seasons.
The increase in penalty minutes is pretty stark and shocking because it's not as insignificant jump. He goes from 19, a career high of 19 penalty minutes in a season, to 45.
Is that just doing too much, do you think?
I don't know.
Is that because, like behind on plays, or... there was some local media, I think Mark Mathot especially, was like, this guy doesn't drive play. So is he out of, sometimes you get stupid penalties for hooks, or maybe he had one game, check Hockey Reference, if he had a game where he had like 5 fights.
Well, are you ready for me to be so smart?
Sure.
He had an odd number of penalty minutes, which means he fought.
Yeah.
Or something. That's what I'm trying to find. And on March 30th, he fought another heavyweight, Joel Farabee. Holy shit. So the screen cap on Hockey Fights, it's DeBrincat and Farabee fighting. It's 2-1 Ottawa. The shots are 20-4 for Ottawa over the Flyers.
Oh, nice.
Can I give
Holy
you...
shit.
So here's his penalty breakdown. He only had penalties in 10 games last year, but he had 2 where in Florida he had 12 minutes on April the 6th.
That's got to be a misconduct.
And then in Winnipeg, he had a 10-minute, and that was on the 21st of January. And then he had a 5-minute versus Philadelphia, which I guess is the Farabee.
So if say we take out the first 2 games, the 15 and the 10, that brings him down to 23 minutes on the year, which is normal.
In line with career.
So he just had 2 games where he went out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That's no big deal.
And maybe those games don't happen in Detroit.
Yeah. So...
Huh? Oh, I see Detroit again. I keep going back to Tyler Bertuzzi. I thought he matched what their identity was. Detroit drags you into the fight. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I kind of think
they got
you
so
might
much
see
better.
more of it.
So it's interesting because Detroit's offseason has been one of the more perplexing. They made a lot of signings. They got Kostin, they bought out Yamamoto. Sprong is a good deal. Comfer, I think, will end up being an okay deal. But what Detroit was not adding,
They're better.
they weren't adding like top end talent like this guy though.
I think
They were adding mid level guys, and I include David Perron in the higher level of he's a pretty strong second line player.
yes.
But
He's not like Comfer, I think, is a third line guy.
he'll be second line next year, I think.
Yes.
But
So he's a guy who got a promotion, and maybe he got his promotion in Colorado. Whatever. At some point over the last 24 months,
Sure.
right? He got his promotion. Perron is a definite top 6 guy. Even Kopp is he's not a second line center on every team. He's really good, but he's not a second line center on every team. DeBrincat, top 6 anywhere he goes. Absolutely anywhere he goes. Should be top power play unit, all that stuff. He's after Larkin, their best forward.
yeah.
Gotta be.
After
Lucas
Raymond.
Raymond, I think, in there.
He had a pretty bad last season.
Jesse loves him.
No, because
So
I traded
much.
him I traded John Tavares for Lucas Raymond.
And man, did you make people happy.
Oh yeah,
They were thrilled with you.
So the Daily Faceoff has the top 6. Well, we can go through all the line combos. They have Raymond, Larkin, DeBrincat as their top line. Berggren, I don't know how to say it.
Begrin, I think.
Begrin, Comfer and Perron on the second. Fabry, Kopp, and Sprong on the third, and Kostin, Rasmussen, and Christian Fisher.
I forgot
round
about
out the
Christian
fourth line.
Fisher. Dude, that's not
It's
bad.
not the deepest team in the world, but it's not bad. It's an improvement over last year.
See, I think it is deep. It lacks the top end.
You want more of the star power.
Yeah. Now, if Raymond bounces back to his rookie production, all of a sudden, holy shit. Raymond, Larkin, DeBrincat's pretty deadly.
Yeah, and then Wallman, Sider, Gostisbehere, Hall, greatest line in the history of NHL, Gostisbehere and Hall, Mata and Sherratt.
Yeah, I don't love that decor. A lot to not
Did you
love.
not hear what I said about Gostisbehere Hall?
That is going to be...
The greatest line ever?
I'm watching that opening fucking night, man. The all defense pair. The all don't fuck this up pair. Don't give me the puck. I might do something with it.
Red Wings fans,
Oh, boy.
I'll put money on those two not playing together.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. I don't think these pairings are how it's going.
Okay, so what would you rather have then? Gostisbehere, Sherratt, and Oli Mata, Justin Hall?
I would move Hall down and Sherratt up for sure.
Ooh. Okay, because Gostisbehere can skate. He can wheel.
But I don't think they brought in Justin Hall to put them on. I'll put him on the third pair. That's the thing. So I don't think it would work out like that. I wouldn't play him up there, but I don't think they're going to play him down there.
Gostisbehere, Sherratt, Hall, Mata.
Yeah, so I would swap those two.
Yeah.
I think Detroit fans are pumped about this, and I think they should be. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I
they
think
should be.
I think
like what, Hall, Mata?
there was a lot of questions about the Iser plan. Hall, Mata, yeah, no, you shouldn't be. And it's because of that. It's because it's like, okay, you look at if you just look at daily face-off, it's like, okay, we got new guy Comfer, new guy Sprong, Costin, Christian Fisher, Gostisbehere, Hall,
Christian Fisher, like, I mean,
James Reimer. No offense to James Reimer, but like, are these names that you get excited about? They're not selling tickets with those names. DeBrincat sells tickets.
Well, Reimer's a very confusing goalie. Like,
yes,
he has nights where he's unbeatable and seasons where he
is just okay.
cannot, you know?
Yeah,
But no, I mean, he's been in the league this long.
totally. And I think that there's
Getting
just
up there too.
This is just good for Detroit fans because I think it was funny. Winged Wheel posted something, and they're like, the last time a star player chose Hockeytown.
That was crazy.
So in July, this is July 2nd, 2008, Marian Hossa left the team he'd gone to the finals with, the Pittsburgh Penguins, where they lost to Detroit, and joined Detroit in free agency, 1 year, $7.4 million. Now, at this time, the cap was in the mid-50s.
So that was a bananas deal.
It was a crazy deal. And then
12 years, too.
And that's 15 years ago. Somebody actually said...
12 years when he went to Chicago, sorry.
Somebody wrote back to me. Yeah, it would have been 13.14% of the cap for Hossa versus 9.43% for DeBrincat. And the salaries, it's funny. You look at this, 2008 to 2023, the salary is almost the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the player is, I mean, I would say Hossa is better for sure. But are they that different?
Hossa in the
Are they that crazy different?
Hossa in the prime of his career.
Amazing.
Like, we're talking about a Hockey Hall of Fame player.
Yes. But like, it just shows you how little salaries have gone up too.
Yes.
Like stark reality on the salaries.
That was 2009. No, 8 would have been.
By the way, he would go on to play Pittsburgh in the finals and lose. But don't worry, he won cups with Chicago.
He went to Chicago and won with interest.
Yeah, he was that era's Patrick Maroon.
He's in the finals a lot.
Maroon won, though. He was Corey Perry.
Yeah, I guess
true.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
So Detroit's got to be excited. Ottawa, though, it seems like, and it's a little bit of copium, but I don't blame them for this, which is, okay, well, now we got DeBrincat out of the way. Now we can get our guy, Vlad Tarasenko.
I mean, he's good.
He is good.
He's very
He had 18 goals last year. He had a great resurgence from a bad injury in St. Louis as well. But here's the thing. The Senators were not the lead team on Tarasenko when he fired his agent. And the team that was the lead team, the Carolina Hurricanes, are back in the mix.
This trade stinks in a volume. In a volume.
Vacuum. I'm sure it would stink in a volume too.
I'm sure. This trade stinks in a vacuum. But if you're able to add Tarasenko, it's a bit more justifiable. If you can't, I don't know what you do there.
Here's the thing with the Tarasenko thing, and I'm not totally sure that this is fair. It reeks of Dodonov a couple years ago.
Explain.
Well, you're bringing in Tarasenko's not known for his defense, and nor should he be. But you're bringing in player to team that isn't deep, player with injury history. Dodonov is not as good as Tarasenko, and they're not on the same level. But you're talking about Dodonov as a depth pure goal scorer, right? He's as close to that as you can get. It's like Thomas Tatar, right? I'm not expecting him to be on the penalty kill, but if I can get 25 goals out of him, I'm fucking aces. That's great.
There's something to that comparable.
Tarasenko I think the difference is Tarasenko is probably going to get 1 year, and he has the opportunity to go and make a fortune next summer if he scores a lot of goals in Ottawa. But I just feel like, I don't want to call him a runner-up prize, but there's something about it that's like,
no, that's definitely what it is.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I don't want to be mean here because it feels like punching down here. Like I don't feel good about this for the Senators.
No, he's older. He has a longer injury history. Like what's punching down? The DeBrincat's already scored 40 goals, and he's like, what, 25? Like what? All you're doing is speaking facts. Like, yeah, Tarasenko won. That was, 4 years ago now. I will say, if I was Tarasenko, I'd want term.
You would,
just because of age.
Okay.
Like the thing I look at with DeBrincat, there's an opportunity where this could really work out for him.
Mm-hmm.
But you're also going to be 29 at the end of this. And I just feel like whenever I see a player who is 29 or 30, and at the end of that contract, you're going to want 8 years, you're just guaranteeing that your contract's going to suck.
Well, here's the thing with DeBrincat, though. Let's say his play regresses and he's only worth $8 million in 4 years.
Cap's going up.
Cap's going way up. Doesn't matter. So he'll get it. He'll still stay at that. And $8 million, even if the player only takes home 30% after taxes and agent fees and escrow and all that shit, that's pretty good living.
Yeah, but if there's strategy behind this for the player, he's going to ask for 10.
Right. Jesse.
Yeah.
You watched a lot of New York Rangers hockey last year. He played 31 games in the regular season, had 8 goals, 13 assists. What did you think about Vlad Tarasenko and when he brought to the Rangers?
I think Vlad Tarasenko did his job. Like, I don't think anybody should criticize his play in New York. It's just that when you're looking at the deal for Ottawa, people are so down on Pierre Dorion right now because he lost the trade. But it feels a little revisionist history to look down on what Ottawa did and say it's a loss. It is a pure loss, like just looking at it in a vacuum. But we shouldn't get down on GMs for taking swings. Like when he made the trade for DeBrincat, there was no idea to know whether or not when we got to July 1st of 2023 that he wouldn't sign that extension.
Right.
You had him for 2 years of control. You look at it for the 7 and the 39 pick.
Yeah.
You do it and you say, we're going to get him under contract. You don't believe we're willing to offer him 8 years, $8 million. Whatever he wants, whatever his number is, if it was 8.5, we'll give it to him. We're Ottawa. We got to pay someone. And you went into it expecting, hey, anything you want, Alex, we'll give it to you. And you think in that situation, they're going to sign with you. And he walks away from that because he wants to go back. He's from Detroit. He wants to go play in Detroit. And you don't expect that going in. So getting Vlad Tarasenko, I feel like you come out in a wash a little bit. You have your top 6 forward there. You replace that production. Plus you get a little bit of compensation for the L you took on the trade. You lose the trade, but I don't want to criticize GMs for taking swings in situations where it looks like this will work out for the team.
I think it looked like it could work out for the team.
Yeah, and that's the chance you take.
Yeah.
And are we getting down on somebody for taking a chance that looks like, hey, maybe 70-30, this is going to work out when you're going back to when the trade is 65, maybe 35-ish that he'll re-sign here. You take that chance. Mm-hmm. On a great player like DeBrincat, why not?
He is a rare talent.
Yeah, how often do 40 goal scorers in their early 20s become available?
And especially with a guy like Dylan Larkin, like DeBrincat doesn't have to drive a line, and if he can't drive a line, so fucking what? He's got Dylan Larkin. Like they're laughing.
I didn't really think he needed to drive a line in Ottawa.
I think with Norris out,
with Norris out, it screwed the whole thing.
Yeah, but I think like Jesse's absolutely right. Like the line that he's gonna, if he doesn't get 40 goals again this year, like barring injury, I'd be shocked.
Yeah. So, but I was speaking on Ottawa's side. When you originally do the deal, you take that swing on acquiring this player.
Yes.
I mean, we all looked at Ottawa's top 6 and we thought, holy shit.
It's ridiculous.
They might not win a ton of games, but they're going to score a shitload of goals.
Yeah. No, there was the long Twitter debate over the summer that we love bringing up about who's top 61.
Okay, what's your
Leafs or
Oh
Leafs
god, that's a rough tweet in retrospect.
That one.
People are like, bookmark this.
Yeah.
Come April.
We're going to the playoffs.
Bookmark.
But I don't blame them for taking the swing on a young talent like that. You got to do it if you're Ottawa.
Do you though, Jesse? Could you blame them for not having more assurances that he was going to stick around long term?
I think it looked like he was going to stick around long term if you're willing to give him the sun and the moon. And they up until the day they were willing to do that. Yeah, I think they would have pulled out every card they got to not have to make this trade.
Yes,
They have the money now. It's not a old ownership situation where they're not going to make these payments. Like they're going to pay this man the money, and he just walked away, and you don't anticipate that. So I don't see this as like the biggest loss in the world, because I applaud them for taking the swing, and it just didn't work out. And sometimes that's just how it works.
I could see if he had a 40-goal season in Ottawa. First of all, you can ask for more. But if he's like, my number's 9 times 8, Ottawa forks over the $72 million, and he's more likely to stay. He didn't have that great of a time. There's a little bit of tumult with the ownership situation, and also I want to go to Detroit. I think it's a player who didn't have a lot of recourse. Restricted free agency is funny because it's designed to give the player as little power as possible, but there is a caveat. There is a situation where you can have a lot of power. What if you're good?
Then you have a lot of power.
What if you're really good?
Well, look at how the Leafs got dominated by their restricted free agents a couple years ago.
Well,
dominated.
Even more dominated. Even more recently, Dubois.
100%.
Dubois, a player who, look at Zadina. Under contract, tried to wield his power in Detroit, was just like, get the fuck, like, who cares?
Yep.
Other players ask for a trade, and they're just like, Ilya Mikheyev asked for a trade out of Toronto, and Dubas just goes, nah. He just said no.
We saw it on the documentary.
He just went, no.
And he stuck around and got better, and things got better.
And then he went to Vancouver, and he got all his money as an unrestricted free agent. So, a bit of a different situation, but you don't have to honor a trade request.
Do you think, guys, that DeBrincat could have okay, I'm gonna put us in the situation of the Carolina Hurricanes. Remember, right around the trade deadline, and I can't remember if it was before or after, Teravainen and Aho went down, and they were gone, right? Or is it Svechnikov? Who went down?
It was
Svech. So they lose a good chunk of their forward scoring. If you're Ottawa and you hold on to DeBrincat until then, is there a possibility that you get more? Because you could have, with Norris healthy, with the team probably better and a year older, and there's a pretty good chance that DeBrincat has a good year in Ottawa this year. I doubt it would go the way that it did last year. And even last year, 28 goals isn't bad. Could you, in your own mind, from what you guys are, do you think they could have got more? Because when I look at what the Leafs had to pay for certain players, what was paid for players at the trade deadline, look like Tanner Jeannot netted.
Oh, you're saying hold on to him until the 2024 trade deadline?
And we were saying that you couldn't.
No,
you don't do that? You don't do that? Okay.
Because you get to that moment, and it's the day of the trade deadline, and you're like, if we don't trade this guy, we lose him for nothing, then anybody can just rake you over the coals and say,
okay,
I'll give you a 7th round pick. And the night you lose him for nothing.
The night before the trade deadline, he blocks a shot, breaks his hand.
Yeah.
You
got to make the deal this offseason. So
just wanted to throw it out there.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Well, and I said it. I agree with you, by the way. I said it on an episode last week when we were talking about it, but I do think it's a question worth asking now that we know the return. Clearly, the return from the Islanders and whoever else was interested in DeBrincat was not great either.
Yeah.
Well, I know the question on the top of your mind, Adam.
Which is?
How do I make this about the Leafs?
Oh, I'm going to. Don't worry. I got a path to make this all about the Leafs.
Well, okay.
That's next.
In that case, I'll leave it to you. But I will say this, and it is related. Canadian teams with players to trade have not done well this summer. Well, Calgary, I think the haul that they got for Toffoli is pretty
underwhelming.
Well, it's comparable to this one, where it's not the worst, but it's pretty mid. The return for Toffoli and then the return for DeBrincat, it's not the worst. It's pretty mid. If a player has the ability to say, listen, I'm not going to stay here long term, I don't want to be here anymore, trade me. I mean, teams know that anybody with trade protection, which is now a ridiculous percentage of the league, most of them are saying, don't trade me to Canada.
Velarde, Iafallo, Kupari in a second.
That's a hell of a trade.
You don't like the return for
Love
PLD?
That one, when you consider the caveat that I just put on it, the Jets, I think, made out like bandits. And I know Jets fans probably don't feel that way. Considering you had a player who took away your, power in this deal, took away your leverage in this deal, I think they found the perfect trade partner as well. He only wanted to go to a certain amount of teams, and you picked the one that was looking to dump salary. Mm-hmm. So instead of taking futures, you took guys who are good now. Mm-hmm. And then there's Velarde, who was like kind of a nice mixture of the two. Who was it? Kupari?
Yeah.
Fuck.
And a second.
Looking at how Calgary did with Toffoli and how Ottawa did with DeBrincat, I think Kevin Cheveldayoff and the Jets did unbelievably with Dubois. Fantastically.
Are you going to throw it? Should we throw in Ryan O'Reilly not wanting to play in Canada as well?
There's 100%.
He's like, I'm going to go to Nashville, even though I got the same offer from the Leafs.
Yeah.
There's another one.
And that's my hometown team who I grew up loving.
Yeah. And I spent a couple months here, and I was like, it's a little much.
Yeah.
It's not awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, and I think part of that is, guys, don't underestimate the effect that the pandemic had on players in this league.
It is a thing.
Like, listen, if you want to dismiss me and you don't think that it's happening, I can tell you that it is. I know that it is. And the Matthew Tkachuk situation arose very definitely because of it.
And how they do.
Well, exactly. And so I look at, the return still wasn't bad.
At the time, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, but I would say
hasn't
that
gone great so far.
That definitely changed, I think, the way that a lot of players, even Canadian ones, view this country. And it has nothing to do with your opinion on public policy or fucking who you'd vote for, any of that shit. It has to do with the fact that, hi, I'm Guy in my early 20s, and I can't do shit. And I'm looking at my buddy who I played with in junior, and he's in Nashville, and they're out partying on the weekends. I can't even go to a fucking restaurant. And listen, you have your opinion on how different jurisdictions handle different things. I'm not getting into that. But to say that is not an enormous factor, it's an enormous factor. And it still exists.
I think a ton of players have a summer place here and a season place here.
Yeah.
And they even bring their families with them.
Muskoka.
Yeah. They bring their families with them, and it's no big deal. And it's just part of their annual routine, pack up some stuff, move from this place to this place. For 2 years, you weren't able to do that. And that is a very big thing. And I think even though it is not like that anymore, you are suddenly much more conscious of the invisible line.
Well, look at a real personal example would be the Amazon documentary on the Leafs when Zach Bogosian is calling his family that he can't see.
And that's a dude from here.
He's from here. Family's in the States. He can't see them.
Yeah.
For months.
Doesn't matter where you're from. It literally matters where your family is. And, you can't tell me that didn't have an impact on guys, right?
That's why he didn't re-sign here.
Look how many guys, forget Canada, right? Like, let's not make it about Canada. How many guys have moved closer to home? A lot. DeBrincat being one of them. Mm-hmm. Dubois as far as possible. But a lot of guys. Johnny Gaudreau is the high-profile one.
He only wanted to go somewhere in that metro area.
Yeah.
And he did.
Tkachuk wanted to be in the States. Just put me in the fucking States.
Yeah.
Put me in the States.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are going much closer to home. It's benefited the Leafs in recent memory.
So it's funny to contrast that with the NBA, where nobody wants to be in a small market because there's not enough attention on them.
Yeah.
Like you're watching, there's a situation in the NBA playing out right now where Damian Lillard, who plays for the Portland Trail Blazers, he's been there all his career, his whole entire life. He's been their icon for decades, like a decade now. And he wants to go to a high profile market now because he's never played in one. He wants to go to like Miami, or maybe the Clippers might trade for him because he's like, okay, I've spent my whole time here and we haven't really won anything. And now I want to go and get a bunch of attention. And with hockey players, it's the complete opposite. Nobody sits there and says, okay, so I've played my whole career in a market, let's say like Carolina, where it's not as big as Toronto. Like I'm not dissing the Carolina market or anything. Or I've played my entire career in Columbus, let's say. And now I want to go to Canada, where all the attention is going to be on me. Hockey is the main thing that matters. I'm going to go to Edmonton and I'm going to be a star in Edmonton. And hockey players just aren't like that. They go for the complete opposite, where they want to go to the smaller markets.
No hockey player wants to. No hockey player wants to hear this. NBA players work harder. They work harder for their money.
I don't know.
About that. Now, hockey's a contact sport, so that part is harder. I'm not diminishing that, what a hockey player goes through on a day-to-day basis in terms of physicality. But in terms of earning your paycheck, NBA players want as much attention on them as possible, as much profile as possible, as many eyes on the television, as many clicks on YouTube.
Because there's a financial benefit to it.
Yeah.
There's a financial
because they
benefit
earn
to
more
it
money for that.
that hockey players just aren't willing to do.
No, I don't know if that's totally fair.
Yeah.
I don't know if the money's there. I don't know if the money's there.
Well, so
Toronto is.
So
Toronto is
maybe
money.
the money's not there, so therefore I'm just not going to work hard for it because it's not there. And that's fine. That's fine.
Well, they work hard for their hockey.
Right.
I think they think that that's probably enough.
Yeah.
And I frankly
Then
don't
what's
blame
all
them.
this?
If the
Adam,
league doesn't,
that's
if the
enough.
league,
Then what's all this fuss about the CBA?
If the league
for?
doesn't-
Why is there always a lockout?
there is no fuss about
you
the
got
CBA.
enough!
You already said
that's
there is
the
no
thing.
fuss about the
There
CBA.
is
You said
no
that last
fuss.
week. There's no fuss about the CBA.
Yeah.
They're fine with it.
Well, that's
The
true.
PA doesn't give a shit about the CBA.
They're like, well, we're just happy to be here.
What do the owners want?
That goes exactly.
That's how the PA looks at
Let's
it.
hire a boss that is friendly with the owners. No, but that goes to my point. The NBA players, the stars, go to the table. The stars of the NHL don't, and that's fine. The NHL players are happy with their lot in life, and that's okay.
Yeah, like some of them look. If you play in LA in the NBA, you're going to make more than if you play somewhere else. You know, if you play in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So the NBA players like look at it and they say, "I want to go to LA. I don't want to be a star there, so I'm going to make more money and my profile is going to be bigger and my basketball career is going to be looked at a greater because of where I played and the more attention that's on me." And the NHL players are like, "I'm fine with just being a great NHL player
Well, that brings
in any market."
It's an interesting thing you bring, Jesse, because when you look at what a player can get, and I'm going to pull this over to William Nylander. What does William Nylander endorse in Toronto? What's the most obvious?
Sonnet Insurance.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think Campbell's as well. I think he does Campbell, or I thought he did Campbell's, but I know Sonnet for sure.
Sonnet's the big one.
Sonnet is the big one.
Yeah.
If you're William Nylander and you're in New York, the Islanders or the Rangers, but mostly the Rangers because that's where the endorsements are going to go if they're going to go. You are behind 4 or 5 professional sports teams before anybody goes, "Hey, what about the Rangers?" Right? You're behind the Yankees, the Mets, the Jets, the Giants. You could argue New York FC. You could argue, you know what I mean? Like you could argue a bunch of different things. And the Rangers are gods among Ranger fans in New York. But to say that they're on the same level as the Giants or the Yankees would be a fucking lie. If you go to Los Angeles, you're behind the Lakers,
Probably the Clippers.
the
too.
Clippers for sure, the Chargers,
Rams?
the Rams. Probably, well, the Rams are rebuilding, but even then, they won a Super Bowl recently. You see what I'm saying here? LAFC,
the Galaxy.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's the whole thing about playing in a big city and wanting to get those endorsements. And I have to say, outside of like car dealerships in Pittsburgh or even car dealerships in Calgary, there aren't a lot of endorsement dollars available unless your name is like Connor McDavid or Sidney Crosby.
The famous Ovechkin at Eastern Motors.
Yeah, or have you seen the Pittsburgh one where they throw Malkin the keys and he's like, "Oh, this is great."
And
I've never seen that.
Max Talbot.
Yeah,
with
yes.
his,
So Max Domi is going to be what? A fourth line, third line, peaking?
third line.
He's going to peak at the third
He'll
line.
have a deal for sure.
How many deals is a Domi going to get?
If he works it, he could probably make a third. Like, what if his salary's $3 million?
Yes.
There's no reason he can't make $1 million in endorsements.
Oh, yeah.
Frederick Gauthier had a commercial.
That's wild.
Major commercial, I think, in a national campaign with Sonnet.
Mm-hmm.
You should sign
With
the
like
list.
fucking Dougie Gilmore and Haley Wickenheiser. Like it's crazy.
Morgan Riley's outside of every pizza. Is it Pizza Nova, right?
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
holding the pizza in a generic hockey jersey. That's definitely
Every time I drive down East Avenue, I see Mitch Marner with like a real estate company, like thumbs up. This is where I look for my houses. Sure, Mitch.
Hockey players are everywhere here.
John Tavares, before he was a Leaf, advertised coconut water.
Well, and he has a crypto thing here. He has
I think that might be. I don't know if the
Is that
crypto
gone?
thing is still alive.
well, he did have it.
It's based on how crypto went.
Yeah.
Can you take that down?
He's got his own cereal.
Yeah.
that's at like
And
I see
it's
it at
delicious.
Sobeys all the time.
Have you tried it?
No.
Oh, it's the best.
Oh,
Is it good?
Yes.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Is it like just cornflakes?
No, it's got like
Kale flakes.
I think it's blueberry in it.
Oh.
like chewy blueberry.
We should try it on the show.
Almond.
Yeah.
I would
I'd love
love
to try
to
it.
slop.
You know what we
down
should do?
A loud bowl of
Can we do this? Can we do
911.
when the endorsements start to come out? Can we do like a top 10 list of the best endorsed, like the products that the Leafs are endorsing this year, and we tried them, and here's what we found.
We get insurance.
Yeah, like okay,
we buy a house.
So I tried Sonnet.
we buy.
We buy a house. We bought a house.
You know what? The process
for the
wasn't
lulz.
that great.
Yeah.
It's number 7.
It'll be like TikTok house, only it'll be guy in their mid-30s house.
Ilya Mikheyev. Ilya Mikheyev on his first day here was like, I like soup.
Yep.
He had a soup sponsorship within the month.
Yep.
Noel Achari, what are you doing? What are you doing, Cookie?
Yeah.
He was a Leaf for like literally 2 weeks before he was making cookies in a Tim's commercial. Like, dude,
Should have stayed.
Ryan
Well, they
O'Reilly
should've offered.
had some during his brief stint here. He was in a few commercials.
He's the perfect guy for Canadian products too. He looks like how you think a Canadian man should look. He's always got
I
fucking,
got a beard and one tooth missing.
yeah,
Right.
beard, tooth missing, bright freaking like stare through your soul blue eyes. Like my wife had a huge crush on him, and he always wears a toque, and he's got
There it is.
he's got the
Flannel
on all the time. That guy is Canada.
Friggin' the Log Rider song that used to be in commercials.
Yeah, 100%.
That's where the Log Rider learns to tread.
So back to the original thing with the DeBrincat
What?
trade. NHL teams have this opposite problem where if you're in a market that has a lot of media attention, guys don't really want to play there. And that's unfortunate.
Some guys.
Yeah.
Matthews doesn't mind.
Austin Matthews is the complete opposite.
Willie doesn't mind.
Yeah, but
Zegras.
so
Why do you think Zegras was on the cover?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool as fuck.
Yeah. Well, he's
Unfortunately,
cool as fuck,
the
but-
places that are heavy media markets are the Canadian teams.
Yes. Now, if you're the Leafs,
It sucks.
sorry,
sucks for the sport.
if you're a Leafs fan, the DeBrincat deal, and the reason I brought up Nylander is probably of the contract signed. It's like somewhere between Meyer and DeBrincat in terms of where Nylander, at least in my mind, should fall. And if I was Louis Gross, who was Nylander's agent, I would want to throw DeBrincat in the lake right now. I'd be so fucking mad.
That's what I said. If I'm Louis Gross,
You just lost.
No, when it comes to the negotiation, if the Leafs even bring that contract up, I go, that's different.
Well, you can't though.
No, but that would be my strategy.
Yeah.
I'd be like, no, that's a guy trying to go home. He took a discount. That doesn't apply. That's what I'm trying.
And I would say, so do you want to go home to Calgary then?
No.
So Nylander, in my mind, is the overall better player. And here's the thing: we've seen him more in the playoffs, and we know he's a playoff performer. I love William Nylander, and you have to start every conversation with with Nylander's name with "I actually like the player." I don't know why I have to keep doing this, but we do. That said, him asking for 10 plus million, it's not 10 million he's asking for, guys. CJ Show said it. It's over 10. And if you're an agent, of course you ask for more money. Of course you ask for more money. Of course. But usually I would say that, maybe you're asking 10 to 15% more than you think you're going to get.
Sure.
That's a lot more. It's a lot more than what the Leafs and Nylander were supposedly working on before the Dubois deal signed. And Steve, you and I got into it last week, famously.
What?
On Tuesday last week.
I remember being very calm.
After seeing this extension, though, and I am personally, I saw your side at the time, but I see it even a little bit more now.
That's why you stick to your guns.
The
kids.
big three. No, I'm not. Listen, I'm not.
Steve,
Christ,
you're
this isn't
being
even
so
over yet.
unreasonable.
Can I finish? Can I finish?
You fucking dummy. Steve won. Steve. Woo!
It hasn't finished yet. The game's not over.
Yeah. Wear that belt, baby.
So Steve's point is,
Unified champion SCP Steve Dangle. RKO him right now.
YouTube, acknowledge me.
all right. Steve said these guys. Fuck off, guys. Jesus Christ.
Crowning him.
I'm just trying to finish the goddamn point. I love you.
Oh yeah, bear hug. Finish him. Finish him.
Cheating. There was cheating. Can I just throw that? So the point here is that I think the Leafs have an opportunity. I'm going to talk about the core three, right? The big three on the Leafs. They have an opportunity here, all of them, especially Matthews and Nylander right now, to be mature about this and go, listen, I am worth more than this, but if I want to stay here, I'm going to have to take less. Otherwise, the first round exits are going to continue to happen, right? Or in Nylander's case, you're going to get traded. Because I don't think the Leafs are going to overpay for Nylander. By the way, anybody that says he took a discount last time, you're full of shit. He came after that was after a 67-point year. They gave him $7 million. Stop it with that nonsense. He did not take a discount. He outplayed his contract, which is a good thing.
It's revisionist history.
Yes. So I am saying that I think that these players will do this. Steve is saying that they won't. But what Steve's point, the point that resonates with me the most of what you said last week is I don't understand this headspace that these guys are in, that they think that this is possible. So what is it?
Taking as much as possible, you mean?
100%. So I understand that, taking as much as possible. What I don't understand is, okay, so DeBrincat goes home. He takes a slight discount for a hometown discount. Is William Nylander arguably worth $10 million next year?
Like, fucking no. There's no fathomable argument.
Hold on. I asked if he's worth it on the open market. I didn't ask if he's worth it to the Leafs. You can make the argument that William Nylander, who from time to time throughout the season needs to get benched and needs to move lines to get going again, you can make the argument under the next couple of salary cap rounds that he'll be worth close to 10.
No, right now, if William Nylander was a free agent this offseason, there's no way.
Not this offseason. What about next offseason when he actually is?
There's no way depending on how his season goes, obviously, maybe he puts up 45 goals instead of 40, if he increases.
He's been on an upward trajectory.
Based on if say he had repeated the same season, no. Nobody in the NHL should give him $10 million.
So wait, though, that's not the question. It's not, the question is not, would it be a good idea to give him $10 million?
Will someone?
It's, would one of 32 teams do it?
I don't think so. I think he asks for that number. And that's why we're getting this number in our heads, is because he's asking for it. But I think in reality, it comes in just under that for one of these other teams.
Now, here's the other little wrinkle in there. Would one of 32 teams do it? I think absolutely one of them would. You're not going to fucking Columbus.
Yeah.
You're not going. Like, Mitch turning down, what was it, 12, allegedly?
13 or 14.
They tried to offer sheet him, and they wouldn't even do it.
It was 13 and a half.
Yeah, he didn't accept the offer sheet. Yeah.
Yeah, so like that, would one of 32 teams do it? Yes. Would he necessarily want to do it? You're not going.
Yeah. Does he want to be the only player on random team?
One of the
maybe
he just go play by himself with a bunch of AHLers.
It's your prerogative. And by the way, everyone you should be good. You should be cheering for that.
No,
William Nylander, want him to get as much money as possible.
That's not a dude who's going to go play for $12 million in nowhere land.
I don't think he wants to. But what I'm trying to say is if there's one thing that I can definitively say right now, and we'll know more about the Dubas administration in Toronto the more years that go on, because you can look at things in retrospect and see how they played out. But there's one definitive, I would call it a failure. Some people would argue with me on that. There is one definitive failure, and that is they let the restricted free agents believe two things. A, that they could ask for more, not market value, more than they were worth. Mm-hmm. And they also let them believe that, just keep playing the same way you will and you'll win. And eventually you'll win. And,
they really did think they were going to luck their way into winning.
Well, yeah. I think that they just thought pure skill we're going to win. And that's just not the way it works. And I think I'm trying to figure out how the Leafs break this alternate reality that these guys live in, because that's part of sports, right? The players live in an alternate reality, and go, guys, listen, you're just simply not going to make that here. And Kyle's not, if I'm Brad Treliving, I'm like, Lewis, Kyle's not here anymore. Kyle Dubas loves his guys. Met William Nylander, maybe. He's a nice guy. Heard nothing but good things about him. Love the way he plays. And we want him here. But the number you're asking for is a Columbus Blue Jackets number. And that's where, like, that's going to be the big test of what Brad Treliving is. Obviously, Nylander has been trending a lot on Twitter, and people are going to look at DeBrincat and they're going to measure Nylander against DeBrincat, Meier, and Dubois. They're not direct comparables, but I think you get, on average, he should fall in that area.
Yeah, we're talking about a pure winger. Under this new salary cap, what are they going to make? A pure winger who can score a bunch of goals, impact the game a lot, but that's kind of it, and is not going to be the greatest defensively. So, and his comparables, like Meier's a better defensive player than him. DeBrincat's a higher end scorer. Like, they bring different things to the game, but they all live in this category of high end winger.
Yes.
And people will point out that DeBrincat scored fewer goals last year. Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
He's a younger player who, for most of his career, has kicked Nylander's ass.
I think
in that
if
department.
DeBrincat was on a line with John Tavares or with
Austin
Matthews, and he's
and
that
Mitch
winger,
Marner.
or Mitch Marner, who's setting him up on the other side, I think he scores a little bit more goals.
Playing behind Mitch Marner.
Yeah, like circumstances. Guys.
Listen, best case scenario, he takes a nice deal and stays here. That's what I would like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's an option.
You should make your point while also being insufferable.
I think
like
so
the first
too.
time.
I think
Yeah.
it's
Oh, I
interesting.
think so, too.
It's interesting, by the way, when you make your point, people call you insufferable, but it's really just I disagree with you and I don't like what you're saying. I think that there.
Cope,
I think
Steve.
nobody can disagree with the fact that these players have been allowed to live in this alternate reality. I don't think you can. Marner Matthews signed for above fair market value when they signed their contracts. And the reality of the situation is they played great throughout them.
Yeah.
The cap didn't go up. The Leafs were betting on it too. But when they didn't adjust, the thing is the Leafs didn't adjust and neither did these players.
Well,
And I understand with Nylander, he's like, listen, if Nylander's saying to you right now on the negotiation table, or Louis Gross is saying, guys, you're arguing from a this year salary cap perspective. This deal doesn't kick into the following year. Mm-hmm. That's why we're pushing 10. If the number comes back and it's a long-term deal and it's 8.8 or it's 9 million, how do you guys feel?
8.8 or 9?
Yeah.
You're not better than Timo Meier, man.
Okay, but Timo Meier signed that this offseason.
So, yeah.
So percentage of cap might be close to the same or even a little less.
We got to let you go. Listen, I've already seen them set the market once. They set the market with Nylander, right? They set the market for a generation, and no one really passed them. Remember David Pastrnak took... I want to say his deal was signed after Willie's.
I think it was.
Yeah,
It was like 6 million.
That was the first real sign of, ooh, fuck.
Yep.
Ooh, this might not go great.
Yeah. And I have to say this too. I understand from Williams' perspective, Kyle grinded him down and then gave Marner and Matthews $4 million more. And
They were better.
And well, yeah, but if I'm Willie, I'm like, were they $4 million more better? That's not great language, but
Yeah.
I mean, Marner was coming off a 97-point season, so it's different.
I don't remember Marner getting benched. I don't remember Austin getting benched.
So David Pastrnak signed his $6.6 million deal.
Which was $6.6 million more than he said he would play for.
Greedy guy.
Pastrnak did famously say he'd play for
How much is
nothing.
he playing for now?
11.2.
A lot.
11.25, yeah.
Man.
So on September 14th, 2017, David Pastrnak signs a 6-year deal worth $6.666667 million.
Oh, that's before Willie signed his deal, I think.
Yes.
Ah.
And on December 1st, 2018,
How could I
famously,
forget? Yeah.
William Nylander signs that $6.9 million deal.
Maroon.
So Pasta kind of set the market, and Willie got a little bit above Pasta.
So
if
here's-
we're talking about how things went down.
Here's what's happening, though. You have very comparable players signing deals that have set the market, in my view. And what happened in 2017 was players had set the market. Pastrnak set the market. And the Leafs went above it anyway. You cannot do that again. Mm-hmm. You can't do that again. Trade him and lose the trade. It'd honestly be better for the organization. We've seen what happens here. There's you can't. Like DeBrincat's younger. Dubois younger too, and plays the position that Willie couldn't.
So
I love this player.
Yeah.
They're a better team with them. $10 million, you're out of your fucking mind.
It's July 10th right now. 1 year, 365 days from now, William Nylander, if everything plays out the way it is right now, would be eligible. He's eligible to be a UFA, right? So I want to know, since we're at this point, 9 days past when he could have signed, now if I'm Brad Treliving, I want to know from other teams what the return would be for William Nylander, plus the $8 million or $9 or $10 million that I'd save against the salary cap. I need to know those options now. I need to start looking. I need to know my return from the rest of the league plus the cap I'd save, and if that might be more worth it than having Willie on this team through next season.
I have a question.
Sure.
If you're Louis Gross, have you backed the Leafs into a corner?
No.
Hold on.
How?
You're asking very publicly, it's out there, $10 million a year.
Yeah.
What team is going to trade for that?
No.
So I'm going to trade for that, and then I got to sign him to that deal? Fuck off. So he's killing any potential trade market by asking a number like that.
So William Nylander's trade clause is only 10 teams.
Okay.
So you got 22 teams to trade with. In that 22 teams is a team like Ottawa with DeBrincat, who looks at it and is like, we can do this. We can get this done. Whether or not they can, who knows? But there's out of 22 teams, there's teams in there that look at Willie and say, we can offer him whatever. We can do this. And you have freedom to negotiate with those 22 teams. That's enough of a big group of teams that I can find a great deal and see if that's worth it more than having Willie on this team.
Okay. Let's talk about this. Carolina Hurricanes last offseason. It didn't go great, but they acquire Max Pacioretty for nothing. Chicago Blackhawks. It didn't go great, but they acquire Marc-Andre Fleury for nothing.
Who did the Carolina Hurricanes give up for Brent Burns?
Was it nothing?
Just about.
Just about. So we're seeing cap space be this
It's a boogeyman.
It was Steven Lorentz, a third, and E2 Makanainen. There you go.
Mac Daddy, as we call him.
That's a goalie, right? I think. It's in our instinct to say you cannot let this player walk. We're seeing teams do it all the time. What's wrong with just letting him play? Just let him play and you take the risk and fuck it. No, I'd rather do that than give him 10.
That's unforgivable.
I'd rather do that than give him 10.
Why wouldn't you trade him and get assets?
This is why earlier
Is
I
it a
said
DeBrincat
I'd rather
situation,
lose
though?
the trade. I'd rather trade him and lose the trade than give him 10. You can't give him 10.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you then, if you're the Leafs, do you look at it like, okay, it's almost like DeBrincat wanting out of Ottawa. You trade him, you lose on the trade, but the person you're able to sign afterwards is worth it.
Yes. The part of that trade is also the $10 million you didn't spend.
And that's a little bit of copium.
Yes. Oh, it's fully copium.
But the Leaf fans may have to get ready for some copium.
Sure.
I'd rather do that than give him 9.
The question I have too for
The
these
market
guys,
isn't 9.
if I'm Brad Treliving, the question I have for them, and Austin for sure, but more Mitch and Willie, because Mitch's contract will be a topic of conversation next summer. Oh joy, oh bliss. Is okay. Where do you think you're going to have that number and have a better shot at winning? Mm-hmm. For all the shit that people give the Leafs about losing in the first round, and it's deserved. The reality of the situation is a good hunk of those playoff games they probably should have won. They probably should have beat Boston at least once. They probably had they fucking got their shit together. They should have beat Columbus. They absolutely should have beat Montreal, and they should have beat Tampa last year. This year they shouldn't have beat Tampa, and they did. I think that at the end of the day,
bunch of the shouldas.
Well, I know, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like the Leafs got outplayed against Tampa. They fucking did. They're like, just call it what it is.
Yeah.
And they won. The reality of it is, tell me where William, Mitch, Austin less so because he is the centerpiece, where are you going to have a better shot and play with better players than these three guys? Where are you going to go, make this kind of money, and have a better shot at winning with an organization behind you. And by the way, any money that you don't make on this deal, we know every major business in the community will just hook you up for any endorsement dollars we can find. Because the Leafs can do that.
Well, because it's not just Toronto. It's national campaigns.
Sure.
All these guys.
Well, Sonnet was a national campaign for Willie.
Yeah. Austin's in a bunch. Mitch. I think Willie.
So the money that you're not making, you actually are making. And here's the great thing. You get to keep it all.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay escrow on that, on your endorsement dollars.
Isn't that great? Yeah, you make a higher percentage of the money that you do for those gigs, which we know are probably 6 digits.
So if you're Brad Treliving, that has got to be what you lead with.
I think that's what every GM ever has led with. And they just, I don't know. That's what they allegedly tried to do with Steven Stamkos and the Canadian Tire thing. And
let me ask you guys something.
But the idea that there isn't better hockey situations for them, I think, is a little is
at that
misleading.
Price. At that price, William Nylander.
No, I think if they want the best hockey situation, they can leave and take a lot less and go somewhere else and play in better hockey situations.
Play with a team that's won more recently.
That they don't want to take less, which is their whole point. Then I would say take a little less, stay with this team, be great.
But if they want to take a little less, why wouldn't they go to better hockey situations?
There are very few. At the end of the day, the Leafs did finish 5th in the league. You know, I know that they didn't perform in the playoffs, guys, but let's not be that cynical. 5th in the league? Come on.
Is that my problem? Bit cynical?
Well, no, I think that that means that based on the regular season and the playoffs can be a crapshoot. Look, Boston lost in the first round. Okay?
Man.
There would be 4 other situations that in theory would be better for you.
No,
and at that point, you're pushing somebody else out because of the money you're asking.
Sure. But like if we're comparing like regular season and then hockey situations, I look at a situation in New Jersey that's a much better hockey situation and they finished below the Leafs in the standings.
But they don't have the money for those guys at that
price.
No,
but
they'll never pay you that.
Hypothetical hockey situations where if you're taking less money to go to better situations, I think there are enough better.
But other teams would tell them the same thing. You're not making more money than fucking Jack Hughes. Are you out of your mind?
I think we're overcomplicating the conversation. No one has signed for the money that he's asking for. No one signed in recent memory for the money he's asking for.
So
what's he fucking talking about?
So when CJ said on the CJ show,
he should ask.
Sure,
we're getting caught up on the ask part.
Yeah,
I know, but the ask is so high that's my point here, Jesse, is that the ask is so high that you're like, they think it's going to fall at 9.5. I see 10 plus as they think it's going to come in at 9.5, and it's not.
Somebody's. But then back to the UFA conversation, somebody would pay him 9.5. So the ask isn't it? It's what it's going to land at, right?
He's at least $1.5 over the market. In terms of what he's asking.
I want to play this clip from the CJ show. I just brought it up, and it plays perfectly into this conversation. It's actually clipped already for you, Jesse. I edited it. It's a minute long, and it has to do with the Nylander contract situation and why this number is where it is as well. Because, I agree with you 100%, Jesse. You're fucking right. You asked for $10 million or whatever. But you ask for that number with another number in mind, knowing that you're going to take a percentage discount. But here's the big part that you can't quantify, and CJ kind of nails it. Go ahead.
The big worry is he doesn't want to be paid so much less than Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. He just feels internally that he has a sense of what should be fair there, and the team is looking at the marketplace. I mean, you get Pierre-Luc Dubois signing an $8.5 million deal, Timo Meier on an 8-year contract in LA. Timo Meier got $8.8 million in New Jersey on an 8-year deal. But, those are different types of players. Those guys are 6'3". Dubois plays center. There's no denying Nylander's skill and the fact he's actually been a Leaf that's been productive in the playoffs. Had a 40-goal year last year, more than 80 points. Let's see if they can find a happy medium in there. But my sense right now is there's a bit of a strain in negotiations with the way things have gone. I think that clearly the Leafs have a number in mind for Nylander, and he's asking for a lot more than what they're.
So his whole thing there, and the whole point of that clip is he doesn't want to be making that much less than those guys, which you can understand. How do you convince and convey that? How do you, and this is what I don't have an answer for. If you're Brad Treliving, how could you confidently say, Willie, you won't be making a lot less than Austin? Because you will.
You break the core up.
Yeah. And they should have done it pre-July 1st when you had the opportunity to trade Mitch Marner.
The situation's toxic. Like, let's look at this.
Okay.
Who's encouraging Willie to stick to his guns?
His agent.
His agent.
His family. Sure.
Michael.
Yeah, I would think Michael's a big part of that.
Yeah.
His dad. Yeah. Why not Mitch and Austin? Every fucking day. Austin, we're losing Mitch and all this because Austin
is the next contract up.
But if we're looking for comparables, I mean, he's closer to Mitch because they're both right wingers. Austin's the center, heart winner, all that shit. If I'm Mitch Marner, yeah, stick to your guns. The fuck? Because Willie gets 9.2. What's Mitch's number now?
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm getting that.
He's already at fucking 11.
Yeah, I'm getting at least that Columbus contract I asked for.
Every dollar that Willie gives up
Or rejected.
is a dollar that Mitch Marner now has to give up.
I mean,
That's a good point.
If
his agent might disagree.
If Mitch looks at it, he's like, Willie, get as much as you can because that only raises my bar.
I mean, listen, I don't begrudge the bet that Dubas made in 2017 because, again, COVID, all that stuff. Don't have to go through it every fucking time. I don't begrudge that bet. But it's very interesting that you have an opportunity with a new guy to right that wrong or repeat the same mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry. It's you sign a reasonable number or you got to go. This is a player I love. I love this player. You can't do it. I love burgers.
So you guys both saying, by the way, sorry, Jesse, to jump in. Are you guys both saying that this is probably where the core breaks up?
No, I think
if his number's 10,
I can't say that the Leafs fucked this up yet because they might go to the playoffs and win 2 rounds, and then everything's kind of cool.
Oh fuck!
You know,
is that the bar?
If I'm sitting here right now, I think they already screwed it up because we're after July 1st. And Mitch has full trade protection. So they don't have the freedom to break up the core like they should have. Just been looking at it throughout June.
But Shanny stopped that when he fired Dubas, though. He called them all and said, you're sticking around.
Yeah, and maybe you fucked this up in May when you fired the GM.
So the first thing...
Because he didn't say exactly what you wanted when you wanted.
So what you're saying is the first thing that happened to Brad Treliving when he was hired as Leafs GM is Brendan Shanahan tied a hand around his back.
Which is why Dubas left.
Fucking, that's dark.
They might have already screwed this up.
Now, I'm an eternal optimist. I have to be as a Leaf fan. I still think there's room to get this deal done, but I'm trying to figure out if that, then what? So if Willie's at 8.5, then and Matthews is at 12.5, what the fuck is Mitch at?
So here, wait though.
Like holy shit! I don't think this is possible.
Well,
and again, it goes back to the point of what alternate reality are these 3 players living in? If these things are all the case, guys, this is an alternate reality. Other players and other organizations are willing to say, you know what, I'll take a little discount because I want my buddy to make a little bit more. But we sat down, we talked about it. We really want to win.
Yeah.
So we took less because we really want to win. Win.
They live in the alternate reality where their entire team does the opposite of what winners do. The Tampa Bay Lightning lock up Steven Stamkos, and he goes, I'm taking less. So everybody took less. Now, there are a few exceptions. There are guys who took more than Stamkos, but they still took less than market value.
Point and Kucherov.
Vasi.
Those
too.
are the Vasi
big time.
Yeah.
But that was right around when Bob was making 10, Price was making 10, Vasi at 9.5. Yeah. Pretty good.
What a great deal.
And look at what the Devils just did.
They did the same thing.
Myers, the highest paid guy at 8.8.
And that's because he was going to be a UFA after this year.
Yes.
But everybody else is under Jack Hughes. Look at what Montreal did with Nick
Dougie
Suzuki.
Hamilton's their highest paid.
Oh,
player.
okay, Dougie.
At 9?
At 9.
But he was a UFA.
Yes.
Another UFA.
Yeah, he wasn't in the situation where it's like take less. He was free market.
And
But the future
had to play a shit year with them too. Like that was a garbage year. His first year there.
and the
sucked.
future is locked up to so much less. So teams go, listen, you can't make more than this guy. Or you can't make this much more than this guy. Even a team that's hasn't done a lot of winning in recent memory, Detroit. You look at Larkin, 8.7, I think, and they bring in that DeBrincat deal is sexy. It's good. It's really good.
But if you compare the three big young players in New Jersey, Hughes, Bratt, and Heischer, 7.8 and 7.2, and you compare that to the Leafs, who did it 4 years ago,
right?
And they got 11, and 7.
But teams set
6.9.
a ceiling. Teams set a ceiling, right?
Yes.
Can't make more than this. The Leafs players, the Leafs core players are the ones setting the ceiling, right? And this goes back to the Matthews conversation, the golden goose that no one ever wants to criticize because, he's the best and give him the sun and the moon. That's not how it fucking works. It's not how it works. He makes this much, so everyone else goes, well, I'm not this many million worse than him. It's how inflation happened across the league. Gretzky made $1 million and players go, well, I'm not, $700,000 worse than Gretzky. I should be making $500,000 or whatever. And then blah, blah, blah.
So
it kept going up. So the Leafs power structure, their cap structure, comes from the inmates running the asylum.
So that goes back to my point last week, which is the Leafs have got to get Matthews done at a discount before any of the rest of this gets done. If they get Matthews done at a discount, Willie and Mitch have nothing to say. If they start at Mitch, then Matthews and Mitch... Sorry, if they start at Willie, then Matthews and Mitch build off of Willie.
What did CJ say?
What did he say?
Matthews isn't getting done until Willie's done. The inmates are running the asylum.
Then they're fucked.
Trade Willie.
Yeah, and I think it comes down to that.
Trade Willie.
They kind of screwed this up.
Yeah.
I
Can't
agree
trade
with
the other guy.
I agree with you. But you can't cry over spilt milk. So Mitch has his full no trade. We got to move one of you. It's you. Get out.
Children will tell you otherwise. You can cry over anything.
Oh yeah, no, I have a toddler.
So,
you can cry over anything.
So I don't like that phrase.
My
cry over
my
anything.
daughter was with my dad and stepmom a couple weeks ago, and my stepmom said, "Okay, we'll split our pizza," and then my daughter said, "Okay," and then when the pizza came and my stepmom took a piece, she had a meltdown because she didn't want to share it. You can cry over literally anything. Anything.
So I'm going to cry about it.
Yeah.
Listen,
I am going to bitch and cry about it.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're on your knees sobbing as you trade William Nylander. Do it. This cannot continue. They're not operating the way winners do. The winners, they go, here's what it is. Like even Vegas, where they have a lot of guys making a shitload of money.
Yep.
Eichel makes the most at 10. He was the first player to ever win a cup with a double-digit number.
Signed that contract a while ago, though.
Signed that contract a while ago with another team. You know what I mean? And even Vegas.
Even Petrangelo's not making 10.
Yes, there's a hierarchy, and the Leafs hierarchy goes up. It doesn't go down.
You want to know something about Vegas?
They won.
How many guys on their team make over $6 million?
Eichel, Stone, Petro.
Martinez doesn't, right?
No, he doesn't.
Robin Leonard's at 5, and he's on LTI, or he may never play again.
Is it just those?
You reached the end of the list.
Oh my God! Holy shit!
You're telling me other teams don't manage the cap better?
They do. No,
Holy cow!
And it's why I'm saying the way that Dubas ran that put them in a twilight zone.
Those Stanley Cup champions.
It was his biggest failing.
Three guys over $6 million.
They've lived in that reality, guys, for 5 years. Now Treliving and Shanny have to find some way to break that.
So, from the conversation that we just had, how do you trade him and even feel bad about it?
I don't think you can.
I love the player. Wish him well. I bet he wins a cup. You got to do it.
It'd be super nice to actually stop talking about this too. From a content creating perspective, I'd love the Leafs to be able to get into a situation where they're like, I don't know, they signed JT Compher. I don't know, fucking somebody else other than these guys in their contracts.
You got to break them like a horse or trade them. Those are your two options. Oh, well, no. The third option is sign them to a lot and fail.
I don't want them to get traded. I want them to take a discount. That's what I'm asking. And I'm a guy who's not pro discount. But they need to. They need to. They have to. If this team's going to progress, they must do it. And I've seen team after team after team do it. And here's the thing. You want to make that money, you can. It's Toronto. This is where you get your endorsement money. And it's like one day on set. It costs you one day of the year, and you get like $500,000.
Adam, Steve, Jesse, are you taking a discount?
I'm not operating under a salary cap.
To win a hockey game.
Also, I don't get the joy and the chance every year to go and win the fucking cup. Yeah. Do you know what I would give up for the athletic ability to be able to do that? To take one shift in that fucking league?
Excuse me.
It's beneath my time and yours to have to explain that in the NHL there is a salary cap.
Yeah.
It is beneath
and that
all parties involved.
You at
have
your
to explain
accounting job isn't the same as an athlete.
That's the problem. I think a lot of people look at it that way, though. They're like, well,
I wouldn't take it.
It's comparable. It's not fucking comparable. It's not the same.
There's a hard cap. I cheer for the Leafs. I want the Leafs to win on the ice, in the boardroom, all that shit, even though my check bounced once. And they're not going to win with their, at best, third best player making $10 million.
I think that's fair. It's a fair point. You know what? Let's do the press conference. There's some stuff I do want to get to, but I'm going to save it for Wednesday because we got Dave coming on and on Wednesday to talk Women's World Cup and all the odds there. Let's do the press conference extended.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Before the show, we watched a trailer for this show called The Ride on Amazon Prime because somebody mentioned it to us on Twitter and they asked us if we'd seen it, and we just watched the trailer. And what did you guys think of the bull riding Drive to Survive equivalent?
Someone thought, let's do Yellowstone, but real.
I'm excited for it. I love shows like this.
It's already out, apparently.
I was saying to
really?
Steve and Jesse that Breakpoint, like the golf one is good. Full Swing is good for Netflix, which is like the Drive to Survive for golf. But fucking Breakpoint is crazy television. I don't like. I watch like tennis highlights. I won't watch a tennis match. It's just not my sport. And I'm always aware of what's going on. But the pressure and the economics and the everybody's different stories and how they got it's so unbelievable.
To go back to the conversation we had earlier comparing the NHL to the NBA, the NHL did that. It was a success and people really enjoyed it. But naturally, they're like, we want to do less of this.
Well, they also made Amazon cut 70% of it.
Like so much. Well, I'm talking about HBO.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do a puff piece on a season where we had one of the biggest chokes in franchise history. Like,
it's great.
The NFL, they have Hard Knocks, so that's their equivalent to this, where they go inside the training camp of whatever team, and you're not allowed to refuse the Hard Knocks picking you as the team they're going to cover.
That's sick.
So this year, I think it's going to be the Jets because they got Aaron Rodgers and all that, so you're going to follow them around for training camp.
Amazing.
And the Jets have no right to say, we agree to do Hard Knocks or not. It's the NFL and HBO. They've told you we're going to film you for training camp, and that's it.
Why? Why, Jesse? Why?
Because that's going to be the best entertainment for the show.
Right, because it does what to the NFL brand?
It grows it.
Crazy.
No, I don't.
But they're already in first, Jesse. Why would they need to grow it? It's already the best football in the world.
I don't know if I love that they're forced to be part of it, but what I'm saying is you should want to be. No, it's of all the benefits associated.
It's important for them not to have the ability to refuse because the best situations, the ones that are going to be the most controversial and the entertaining for TV, they're probably going to say no. So the owners have agreed, the 32 owners, they get together with HBO, and this is the agreement, and they say, hey, whatever team you want to pick, you do it, and we don't have a right of refusal because the TV people are going to pick the best TV situation. So I think it's fantastic that they can't, in retrospect, be like, I know we all agreed, but I don't want to do it this year, because then you lose the best entertainment, and that's all that it's about.
What if I looked bad momentarily and everybody remembered it forever? Nobody fucking remembers it. Just do it.
I think a lot of players,
God.
a lot of players might shower at home. Get the fuck out of there. I don't want to be involved.
This comes from Insider J Money. They wrote, "How bad is producer Drew at golf?"
He's amazing.
He's
he's not
maybe the
bad.
best.
He's
of us.
very good.
Like there were 3 good golfers. There was you, there was Rob Groen, and Drew.
So on Saturday, we participated in the Get Real Love Wins charity golf tournament at Lionhead Golf Club. If you follow us on social media at SDPN Sports, you would have seen a whole bunch of pictures and videos we took there. It was a great time. Shout out to Get Real.
It was awesome.
The slow-mo of your drive is fucking unreal.
And so with the, I'm very happy I got that because so I'm looking at my swing, right? And there's a bit of early extension in the swing, so I need to correct it. But
I was gonna say,
but it's
I was gonna say it wasn't great.
It looks majestic and everything, but if you really break down a golf swing, I didn't stay down on it through the end of the swing.
What a fucking loser, eh?
I know.
I hooked that drive at the end of it. It looks like it goes perfectly straight, but there's a bit of a hook on it. And that's because my front leg didn't come down enough because I have a bit of an early extension.
It's filmed masterfully because
So
it's
well.
true. That ball didn't go anywhere near where we needed it to.
No.
But it was hit
I
well
hooked
and
it.
looked great.
All day I was hooking it, and in that swing I can see at the end, like in the middle of the swing, there's a bit of an early extension.
Did you get my slow-mo?
No, so I didn't get the airdrops.
Because I hit that well too. It also didn't go anywhere near where
But it looks pure off your driver, right?
I had about like half a dozen well hit balls all day.
Mm-hmm.
And best ball 3 times.
But
like we talked about on the show.
Explain what those best balls were. One was
2 really short putts.
They were great putts, though. They were great putts. They were great putts.
You
made them.
You 3 didn't fucking make
No,
them.
you're right.
I had to
They were
bail
great
us
putts.
out.
You went before us, so.
That's not no on the first one I went last.
Oh, the last, yes. On the first one, the first putt you made, that was a clutch putt, and it was really good, and we all celebrated.
Yep.
And I had one like decent like chip.
Yeah, you had a chip that it kind of just trickled over to where it needed to be. It was perfect.
Yeah.
And there were a few where I was like, oh, I wanted best ball. But like someone else had a better ball. My driving, I have no driving game.
Right.
None. None. I need to work on that.
And I'm
guys-
fucking trash, in case you're wondering. Terrible.
Oh, Adam had a great time.
He
he didn't get frustrated.
Adam had one club toss.
Yeah.
Where he chucked his.
Yeah.
He didn't get
His
mad.
iron.
Oh, yeah. It deserved it too. It was the club's fault.
He didn't say any bad things about himself.
No, I think what it was is that like I know I'm shit, but I know I was better than what I did out there, and I'm like I made the decision. I went home to Natalie and I was like, I'm not golfing with anybody until I'm better at it. I'm doing it by myself. I'm going to a club course. No, I'm wasting people's time. I'm gonna go to city courses, and I'm just gonna golf on my own until I get this sorted out. City courses are like $20 a round. Just go through and keep practicing until I'm worth playing golf with, because it was terrible.
Worth playing golf. Jesse,
Terrible.
You know what I told him?
This guy.
You know what I told him?
I
at the golf
hated
cart?
it.
What?
You know what I told him? I said, Adam, I would never be friends with someone who spoke about you the way you speak about you.
Wow.
There you go.
Therapist Steve, everybody.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, golf right now is my favorite activity to do because you don't compete against anybody else besides yourself. That's the beauty of golf, is like no matter you're going out there, you're playing with anybody who's any kind of skill level, you're playing against yourself each time.
What's all the tournaments for?
Well,
I don't get it.
So like every time you go out there, it's a new competition because you're always trying to improve, and you never really win because you're always trying to get better. And it's such a fun activity because you can do it with anybody of any skill level, because we're not going head to head. I'm competing against my score each time and just improving my swing and getting better at golf. And Adam, just play a little more and be a little bit more patient.
No.
You haven't golfed
patience.
a lot.
You guys know that. Why? Okay, I get mad at that. Why do I have to be patient? I can be upset that my game was shit. Can't I?
Because it takes a lot of time. So if you're not patient, you're just going to be angry for years. So
I will get there through pure anger.
So it's
I will
either-
Kyle Lowry my way to being good at
we
golf.
have 2 options here. Either you be angry for years while you try and get better, or you be patient and you have
This is
fun
why I'm going to golf
while
on my
you're
own.
getting better.
Who the hell wants to be around me when I'm golfing like that? Nobody.
You ever tell someone to calm down and it doesn't work?
Have you ever told someone to calm down and it does?
Fuck, fair.
Right?
Fair.
It just doesn't.
What
Listen,
do you
man, I'm
say?
fucking competitive. I want to win.
What do you,
I want to
what do you say
win.
instead? Oh, hey, oh.
That's true.
Hey, come on.
So you're just gonna be angry
By myself though.
for
I
years.
won't be interrupting anybody's day
for years.
for years. Maybe even the end of the summer. I just need to be able to get better, and I know I'm better than that. I know I am better.
One of the best ways to get better is going out with friends and not just by yourself being angry.
That's what we're gonna do with I'm gonna do with my summer break. I'm gonna get up at 6 a.m. and I'm gonna hate it.
You need to go-
and I'm gonna go to golf and I'm gonna hate it.
Don't be
until
going
I
to the
like
course
it.
though. You need time at the driving range.
Oh,
You need to
okay.
hit. You need to hit.
There's
you
no
need
good
more
driving
volume.
ranges in Toronto. You want a
That's
business
true.
idea? Fucking start a good driving range in downtown Toronto. That one at the docks, which is like, is it per minute they charge you or something?
It's per half an hour they charge you. Yeah.
Make biodegradable balls that can hit into the lake.
There you go. Do that.
No, don't do that.
Do you guys have any other stories, memories from Saturday?
I just think it was
a good day.
It was we were very proud to have the SDPN logo on one of the holes and the driving range, but also the contributions of the people that listen to this show and listen to this network. And if you donated $1, if you donated, as Jesse said, a high five, or $20 or whatever it was, you have to know that this went to an incredible organization that talks to kids around the country, and I think they're at 500,000.
So they crossed the 1 million kids talked to mark.
Like they started this in university because they didn't feel like there were people that were educating people on this enough, and they go into schools, and then they go into these schools, and there are a lot of kids there who A, didn't know, or B, go, oh, that feels like me, and I've never felt like I've belonged, or I never quite understood it. And
They felt alone.
100%. There's like a whole, if you want to look it up, you should. But I just think it's such a great organization to be associated with. And I just want to say thank you to the SDP and SDPN listeners who helped us raise money for them, because it was great.
And they did something that I would love if all charities did. Like, they dropped a book the size of a phone book on our table, and they were like, here's a full breakdown of where the money goes.
Now, Jesse already has the several terabyte copy of that because it's huge.
Impact report.
Yes.
Yes, it's a very important part of their mission, because they show, hey, here is where the money goes.
Yep.
Here is what we are doing in your community with the funds you give us. And it's so impressive. I believe it's available on their website if you want to see what they actually do with all the funds that you've donated. And it's just, you want to put your money towards it because you say, hey, there are results here. And they're very clear with what they're doing. And that's great to see.
Absolutely. Next question, Jesse.
All right, you gotta give me a second to pull it up.
Can't believe anybody would think that producer Drew's a bad golfer.
Yeah, he's great.
He's literally good, very.
While
very
I
good.
pull up the next question, you could talk about the gun cannon you shot with the golf ball.
Oh yeah, one of the holes, and this is where Steve and I got to drive. They have
That's my longest drive of the day.
a golf ball launching cannon, which was 350 yards or something.
Something like that.
Crazy.
Absolute madness. And
So
our balls
fun.
were right next to each other. Clip that. Clip that, please.
This is from Emily. What's your way too early Stanley Cup pick?
Oh,
That's good.
I mean, Vegas won the cup, so you're not allowed to pick them. You got to overthink it. Can't pick the Leafs. People will laugh.
Well, you can't be you can't pick the Leafs and be a serious person.
All right, Logan.
You can't.
What's wrong with saying Carolina?
I was gonna say Carolina, especially if they get Tarasenko.
It's funny. They have a great goaltending situation and also a tumultuous one.
Because of the injury potential.
Look at Vegas. They use their arguably the fourth best goalie in the organization. Because they had Logan Thompson, who is the best. They have Robin Leonard, who didn't play.
Who may not play, though.
Also may not.
We don't know if
play.
he ever plays again.
Hey, whatever. He's still in the organization, right? Laurent Brossoit, who started the playoffs.
Yep.
And then Aiden Hill, They went out and they got Jonathan Quick. Like, he was one of the worst goalies in the regular season last year, and they're like, no, we need him to help. Right? So Carolina's 3 goalies deep, but, most of the better teams in the league, you can confidently say, here's who's probably going to start for us in the playoffs.
Yep.
Carolina, you have no idea. But I'm going to say Carolina.
Adam, was that also your pick?
Yeah, it was actually my pick.
Okay.
Yeah, listen, they did get swept in the Eastern Conference Final, no matter what Rod Brindamore says. But I do think that they are the most complete team in the NHL, and the team that won last year was they're the most complete right now. The team that won last year was the most complete team in the NHL. It was the Vegas Golden Knights. They were good top to bottom. And Jesse was like, remember after the first round, you're like, they're kind of mid everywhere.
Yeah, I think that was in our previews for the playoffs.
Yeah.
I was like, they don't really dominate in any aspect, but just top down, they are good in every position.
Bunting goes, for everyone who called me a playoff liability, you can kiss my ass. And hoist it above his head.
For my pick, I don't believe that I was wrong. I was just early. New York Rangers.
Not even going to make it out of the Metro. No, New York's a good pick. It's a good pick.
Yeah.
I mean, with Shesterkin, how can you not?
It's a good pick.
This one's from Sherwin. Let's say you're at a birthday party for a friend.
Okay.
The birthday boy or girl asks you to do a shot with them. What is your shot of choice?
Oh. Well, okay. Don't be a fucking idiot. And I'm going to do whatever gets us the most fucked up. Or I'm going to do something with hot sauce in it. Have something delicious. What is this weird punishment?
Where are you going with this?
Well, shots usually are kind of punishment, though.
Yeah, what do you just pick
Most people don't enjoy it.
there's a shot.
There's a reason why you grimace after you take it.
Yeah, but no, not all of them.
But most.
Yeah, well, okay.
Unless you want like those the sugary fucking cereal ones that are like set your stomach on fire.
Well, yeah, but I would rather have that versus like tequila, which has like fucking instructions. First, you got to lick the salt, and then you got to shut up.
You ate the lemon once.
I ate once.
Yeah, that's his party trick.
Steve just eats the lemon.
Yeah. If you're talking about if you want
Weirdly,
something
my stomach
sweet,
hurts.
I'd go with lychee. You guys ever lychee?
No.
What's lychee?
Oh, it tastes like candy. It's delicious.
If it's early in the night, Zambuca.
See, I can't
little
stand
energy.
because that's black. That's like the black licorice flavor, is it not?
Yeah.
Or no, that's grappa. Grappa's black licorice.
No, it's Zambuca. Grappa is it's like Italian moonshine.
Yeah, it's rough.
It is. I doubt many bars would have it.
I am a clear liquids guy when it comes to booze, so I would take, and I get specific about this. I love Tito's vodka. I'd take a shot of that. Or I really like Casamigos tequila. Or if you can get your hands on some 1942, which is like $300 a bottle. I've had a shot of that, and it's crazy. It's so good. That's tequila where you don't need like the salt or the lemon. You just pop it back.
Adam's got so many bottles of those at his house.
I actually do have a bottle.
Yeah,
and I bought it in Mexico for $100. But for some reason in Canada, we're like, no, you can't. You simply can't. You couldn't even buy it up until a year ago without a fucking restaurant license.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So it was like super rare to get. So Natalie and I go down to Mexico last summer and we're like, we're bringing 2 or 3 of these back. So we brought 3 back.
Nice.
Went through one of them at our wedding. But yeah, you can buy them now, but they're 300 Canadian dollars. I'm like, it's not, it doesn't clean my floor for me. It doesn't like take my dogs on a walk. What the fuck is this? But anyway, so I'm still feeling good about my $100 American 1942 that's sitting in my basement. I fucking get so mad at that stuff. The way we buy liquor in Canada is such a bullshit.
Right.
Oh, I hate it.
My other answer is gin. Love gin. Just drink any gin straight.
Okay.
Shot of gin, though?
Oh, yeah. No,
Shot of
I'll
it?
drink a ball of Bombay. Like, fucking gin's delicious.
Oh, I had nothing but G&Ts in Nashville, but I wouldn't do a shot of it.
There are
yeah.
people though that I find gin is one of those drinks where it's like you're either fine or you're miserable. People do not react well to gin sometimes, and it's gin. It's not anything. It's like gin. It's like, oh, I've had some bad nights on gin. It's like you don't fucking touch it then, because it's like there's people that drink it and instantly become the Hulk.
A lot of people are like that with tequila. They're like,
Yeah?
yeah. You know, a lot of people are like, I can't do tequila. I get a blackout or whatever.
I was A-okay. And then someone goes, we're all doing whiskey shots. And I went, okay. And I did one. and they ordered one extra, and for some reason they're like, "You take this," and they like shoved it in my face. I'm like, "All right." I woke up the next morning. I'm like, "Oh, I thought I was okay." Like, the whiskey.
The whiskey.
Yeah, the whiskey will get you.
This is from Todd. Todd, I assume, enjoyed last episode and asks, who would win? 1,000 Steve Dangles versus 250,000 chickens.
What is it? The
I assume,
chickens?
yeah, it's got to be the
But what
and
is
Steve
Steve
also-
I'd die.
Steve also has to have some sort of flamethrower power or something.
Yeah, what's he
or a
armed with?
hockey stick throw in? Like, what is your power?
We all know.
No, do we? What is it?
Fire farts.
No, you can't.
Chicken gets a
you
projectile
can't have
egg.
two butt animals going at it. You
Yes,
gotta
you
have.
can.
You gotta have something.
No, it's the battle of the butt animals.
So it'll be
Yeah.
like it'll literally be like that scene from Braveheart. Only fire will be coming out of your arse for real.
Yeah. Thunderbolts from my eyes.
That's
Or wait, was it fireballs from my eyes and bolts of lightning from my arse?
that's right.
I'm gonna. I got so much weight on the chicken. I'd eat the chicken. I'd eat the chicken during battle, which would replenish my health because it's a video game. So the chickens don't stand a chance. I'd win.
All right.
This is from Nico. Let's end on this. So, last season of the SDP, where I guess we're still in the season, there was a new game we played a little bit. We've only played it, I believe, in Adam's house. During last season, we played it a couple times. I think 3 times or 2 times. Steve is undefeated in it so far.
So it's trivia related.
No,
Oh.
kind of.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys remember. Point a game.
Oh, were we?
The game where you go back and forth. And
I thought I lost.
Did you? Or it might be 1-1. Adam might have one.
think
Yeah.
Adam-
I
We got-
won, but
we got-
it was a fucking fluke if I won.
We got to go back and check the tape, but
Okay.
it might be 1-1. We've only played 2 times.
I think
So
it's 1-1.
Nico asked, can we play a game of point a game?
Oh boy.
Oh shit.
Because now that the season's over, we have our point a game list. And I think it'd be awesome if we play it. So yeah, anybody who's not familiar with our game, Steve and Adam go back and forth and they name point a game players. So they have to average this season
a point a game or more.
At least a point a game or more. And there is no limit on games played. So you pick a player who played 1 game and they had 1 point, they're still point a game.
Okay.
So I'm going to pull up the point a game list. I'll do it on my phone, actually. And then you guys can start your point a game.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, hold on. NHL stats.
Who goes first? Rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, yeah, do that while I do
Okay.
this. Adam's going first.
I'm going first.
Oh, my
That's
God.
actually okay. I'm happy with that.
ESPN doesn't have.
I think going first is the benefit in this game.
Yes. Points per game. NHL stats.
You suck. You can just go to NHL.com and
Yeah, just do that.
arrange it by points per game.
Yeah. I'm going to do that.
You have a laptop, eh?
Yeah. I don't, because it's on the screen. Here, let me unplug it.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want you guys cheating.
Yeah.
So.
I'll just stare.
It'd be known
Right,
cheater,
yeah.
Adam Wilde to you.
Ashley Madison, but for stats.
Ashley
That was a weird
Stattison.
throwback. I wasn't expecting that.
No.
I wasn't either, but we were looking around at like what to watch, and we're like, Ashley Madison, fair. And I was like, I interviewed that guy. Let's watch this, and it was fucking great. It was a great piece.
Oh, I want to watch that.
Oh, you will love it. You will love it, and it's only 1 episode so far. It's like Disney doesn't do the the all episode drop. They make you come back.
Sorry.
It's on Disney?
Disney?
Well, it's on. I think it's a Stars production, but
But it's on
Stars is on
Disney
Disney Plus. Yeah, it's on.
Oh
Disney
my God.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of crazy shit on Disney. There's like the Ashley Madison one is Star. It's a
Well,
Star.
Wrexham being on there is crazy.
Yep. But you got Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, Nat Geo, and Stars, or Star, excuse me. It used to be Stars, I think.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
46 NHL players this season were point a game players. Wow.
I thought it was more.
I actually thought it was more. Yeah.
First person not named point a game player is eliminated and is crowned the loser.
Crowned.
Crowned the loser. You get crowned
Adam
the
Wilde?
loser in this game?
Don't get crowned the loser.
Okay.
Adam Wilde, you're up first.
Connor McDavid.
Leon Draisaitl.
Eric Carlson.
Oh, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
Jason Robertson.
Zach Hyman.
Matthew Tkachuk.
Austin Matthews.
Mitchell Marner.
William Nylander.
And now I'm stuck.
Oh no, no you're not. You're just you're stuck on the easy one.
Yeah, I am. I am.
going.
No, I know I'm not stuck. I was just.
A lot of easy ones out there.
Elias Pettersson, the good one.
Yes.
There's two. You got to specify.
The one in the AHL?
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm just saying. I got to say the.
David Pastrnak.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yep.
That is a good one.
Correct.
And I'm wondering about the two other guys in. I can't say their names out loud in Boston. I don't know. So I'm going to go Jack Hughes.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Just stick with some easy ones. Yeah. We got a long list.
Yeah. Gotta be Timo Meier.
Oh, that's a risky one.
Risky pick.
Steve Dangle.
Risking it for the biscuit. Did he get it, Jess? There's a lot of silence here.
Oh man, he was so good with the Sharks.
Timo Meier.
Oh no.
This season.
Oh no.
Played 57 plus 12. 69 games.
Nice. He had to have had more than 69 points.
69 games. And he had 52 with the San Jose Sharks. And with the New Jersey Devils,
Oh no.
14.
No!
That is 66 points. Adam Wild, everybody.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Why did you go Meyer? That is a really risky pick.
Because you said Hughes. So I decided to go with another
Adam
devil.
Wild.
Yeah, baby.
Gets
Okay.
to crown Steve Dangle
Yes.
as the loser.
Yep.
Did another
Crown him. Loser.
Crown my ass.
Acknowledge him.
Yeah.
Ew. Ew.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you go. Now do the Fortnite dance.
Did the Fortnite dance?
Every 8-year-old in America for like a solid year.
What was the other one with the knees? There was the knee. No, was it the knees one, or what was the other one
Orange
for Fortnite?
Vengeance or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
This one. Or you do that
Oh
one.
yeah.
That one, yeah.
I could
God.
do that one.
Could you do that one? Did you practice that?
You bet.
Yeah, I've seen you do it.
COVID was long. It was boring.
You're hilarious. Oh my god.
Steve.
I know.
Fucking loser.
Okay. Did any other Devils have a point a game? Because I think I'm like, if I missed a Devil,
Did Brat not?
I'm thinking
Maybe?
Brat.
Oh, Nico Hischier was 80 and 81.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would have hurt.
Yeah.
That would have hurt.
Anybody
So-
else?
No one's point a game. I'm just going
Not
down.
Sharon Govich? Sorry. Joke. Sorry, Calgary Flames fan.
No, just Hughes, 99 and 78.
Wow.
Dougie
Oh.
was 74 and 82.
That's gonna
Pratt was
change.
73 and 82.
Didn't Stutzla have like just a crazy back half?
Stutzla?
Stutzla.
Why am I bringing
Noted
Oh,
Devils.
because I'm going through Canada in my head. Sorry, that was a conversation I didn't let you in on. My bad.
just talking about,
I knew there was somebody with. Was there not somebody with Winnipeg too who had a fucking crazy year? And I just
You want me to run down the list?
Oh, Morrissey.
Morrissey.
Some of the guys who were easy, Cale McCarr, could have got Tage Thompson, Braden Point, Timmy Stutz, Austin Matthews, Barkov, Crosby, Panarin, Kaprizov, Zibanejad, McCarr, Tuck, Buchnevich,
And you went
Clayton Keller.
and you went Meyer?
Could have went Jeff Skinner, Steven Stamkos.
He just signed 8.8. I thought he was a point a game.
Oh, Alexander Ovechkin.
He got point a game. That's
What is
pretty
wrong with you?
Ovechkin. That's a high.
What is wrong with you?
I was just trying to...
JT Miller.
I got cocky. And also, when he said Pettersson, I was like, did Miller? I'm not sure. Fuck.
Evgeny Malkin.
He's usually good for between like 85 and 90, Miller,
Yeah.
if he plays a full year. And a
Goals-
minus 20 million.
Goals against per
You know who you could have gone with? Luke Hughes.
Oh.
Fucker.
2 points in 2 games.
I
baby.
love that.
You know who I thought about saying? Eli Tolvanen. Because he was so good with Seattle.
I don't think anybody in Seattle got a point a game.
No.
No,
I don't think their leading scorer got a point a game.
Hovland's not.
I think he might have led them in points per game. Oh, McCann?
Jared McCann, no.
Really?
Not point a game, no.
Wow.
Just going through the top 43.
Fuck. I got cute.
Yep. You got way too cute.
I got cute and it went ugly.
Wow. Well, that was fun. Had a good time.
Fuck you. No, it wasn't.
Nico.
We will be back on Wednesday. There'll be plenty more to talk about. Then we're continuing through this week. And be on the lookout because we got some surprises coming for you in late July and a big one in August.
Like what?
No, I can't tell you about it. It's a surprise.
What?
The Steve Dangle Podcast.
Powered by Sports Interaction. Want to bet?
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.